Peace, family. Come on in the room. Check in, family. Happy Friday. Yay! It is Friday, and we are here earlier than we normally are when we do evening shows. It is 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is July 17th, 2026. We have a great show, an amazing show. I see you all checking in already. Let us know who you are and where you're hailing from, family. Get you a drink of water, get you a pen, pad, whatever you have to do, because you're going to take a lot of notes tonight. Come on in the room, family. Want to acknowledge you, see where you're hailing from. I see you. I see you, family. Orisha Stone's in the house. Subscribe to Orisha Stone's channel, family, to make your jewels and your artifacts based on your bloodline, your birth, your numerology, or your life path number. He's in the house today, family. Come on in. Spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call. Yay. Raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way. You're here. Come on. To a brighter, freer day. I see you. You said y'all here. Come on in the room. I see you, King. You refuse to lose. Sister Janine's in the house, our moderator. She says, welcome, a grand evening to the young elder. Right, the people in power, they look like us, but they're not us. Come on in the room. Let me stop talking so you can enjoy this music. Pass to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call. Hit that like button, family. This is going to be a very good show. Share this video. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new. Are you singing along, family? See, I got my ink pen. I'm ready. Let's go. Hey. As the young elder would say, ride by. Come on in the room, Soul Tribe. We have an amazing show today. Happy Friday. Yay! It's the weekend and I'm so excited. Who knows? Tonight after this show, I might go salsa dancing, darling. I got my rose in my hair, my dancing shoes on, and I'm ready to go. So come on in the room, check in. Let us know where you're hailing from. I see people coming in from all over the world. If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't done so, hit that like button. Make sure you share this video. And when you get done, go to the Young Elders channel. He is always spitting out knowledge, new information as well, every single day, putting out live videos, recorded videos, books, audio books that he has written himself. A very astute scholar, a friend of the chief. He's one of the chiefs of the Soul Tribe, a friend and a chief of Chief Pontiac, Chief Rod Hayes, and Orisha Stone. I see our family checking in from all over. Family, let me tell you about this gentleman, okay? Because we've had questions about who's controlling the world. It's hard to break free from a system or from a slave master if you don't even know who he is. All this time, we thought it was white supremacy. We thought it was Europeans, Caucasians, the white man that was controlling things, only to do research and learn there's a bloodline family that's controlling the bloodline families about which we've heard. So we thought we'd bring on an astute scholar today to come and talk to us. His name, he goes by the Young Elder. He is a leader. He blends ancient wisdom with very fresh ideas. He bridges the gaps between old and new traditions. He brings new energy, fresh new energy to the community, to the human family. His core background and origin is that he grew up in a fast-paced, ever-changing world where he learned the value of listening in order to learn. He acts as a guide and a teacher, a mentor for all ages. He has his own consummate beliefs. He believes and knows that deep roots help us to grow. He listens, he studies, he researches, he records, and then he disseminates the information for us to be liberated and free. He makes hard ideas simple so that even a child can understand these complex nuances that we hear about. He helps people to solve big problems. The Young Elder is a real world example of a real leader, someone who exemplifies the values of the ancient ones. The Young Elder is like a new branch on a fresh tree. He reaches up to the sky while staying attached to the strong trunk. He reaches up for information while staying rooted and grounded in his ancestral information and knowledge. The Young Elder is a perfect fit for the Dr. Kia Pruitt show and the Soul Tribe because he has the wisdom, the knowledge, and the information to liberate the humanity and the human family. And you know, my goal is to raise the vibrations of the planet so that we can create our most amazing, magnificent lives. How can we do that unless we're first set free? So allow me, family, to introduce to some and present to others. My brother, whom I met 3 years ago, and we started podcasting together years ago with Chief Pontiac, none other than the Young Elder who teaches wisdom and ancestral knowledge, our own Young Elder. Welcome, Elder. How are you?
Robot, peace to the tribe.
Peace, peace. Oh, the family is here. They're saying hello, greetings. I hope you can see the comments.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, wonderful. Yes. Oh my gosh. You know, I was actually in meditation and prayer the other day, right before I called you. And I said, there's something that the ancestors want us to know that the Soul Tribe doesn't really have a lot of knowledge about. And in my meditation, it came to me, the hidden hand, that there are beings in control that hide behind the scenes that, you know, allow other people to get the flack and the pushback, but they're really controlling things. And so I said, well, what's the hidden hand? I heard of the Black Nobility, and I heard a voice clearly say, call the Young Elder. And that's when I reached out to you. And you were like, yes, actually, I do know about the Black Nobility. I have books and research about it. I'm going to do an audio book. So welcome, Young Elder. Thank you for agreeing to come on the show.
Hey, thank you for inviting me on. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, well, I don't even know where do we begin?
Well, you can begin with the war in heaven. You know what I'm saying? With the war in heaven. Now, people gonna think that we talking religion, but like I say, they took out the Bible, takes 6 books from other things like the cuneiform tablets, the Sumerian tablets,
Mm.
the the Gilgamesh epics, where it talk about the flood, all that, and the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. So all those books are books that they use as references to create the Bible, and then water it down and dumb us down, like telling us whales swallow guys and then take them underwater for 3 days. Yeah, it don't make any sense. But if you change that whale out with submarine, it'll make sense that these ancient beings who they call the Anunnakis, the Elohim in the Bible, had advanced technology a long time ago, billions of years ago, and they came here, looking for gold. But it goes back to when he's talking about the black nobility, it goes back to the war in heaven when these humanoid, dark-skinned Dragonian beings, because over time, starting with the reptilians and Mother Hoover's creation of the reptilians and the Dragonians, and then them taking on avatars, which look like Hindus with dark skin and
Mm.
straight hair, the original Aryans. Um, these beings, they had a base on Titan, and but they couldn't invade the near people who lived on Saturn, because Titan is, they saying, is the moon of Saturn. So they couldn't
Mm.
invade these people looking reptilian looking. So they had
Mm.
to look like the people in order to go amongst them.
Wow.
Right. So that's when Mother Hoover created these human dudes avatars for them to take these avatars so they can come amongst the people, so they won't look all gruesome looking like they look.
Mm.
Now eventually, make a long story short, Tanush, and to think about this, you gotta get a movie. It's a movie, you all y'all seen it. It's called Avatar. And on the
Yes.
movie Avatar, there were Tamahus who went to the planet Pandora, which is really called Naboo, right? It's one of the closest planets to Earth, like 4.2 light years away. They went to Naboo in the movie, or they call it Pandora, like Pandora's box, and they
Yes.
actually engineered in tubes avatars, beings who look like the native people to the planet. They call the native people to the planet Navi. The Navi is another word, another way of saying natives.
Okay.
And they took avatars and they then transfer their consciousness from their original look to the avatar that looked like the native people of that planet, and then they began to infiltrate them, because we're gonna get
Wow.
into infiltration. That's one of the main goals of these Luciferians, of these jinns, is to infiltrate everybody. And they got different methods of infiltrating. One is actually getting in bed with you, having kids
Mm.
with you.
Mm.
That's how one way they do it, right? But they went
Unbeknownst to
and
you, you can be sleeping
man,
with them and not know.
you could be sleeping with a jinn and not know it if you ain't up to speed. You could be sleeping with a Luciferian who you can marry a Luciferian. Luciferians are driving your kids' school bus. They're in the
Mm.
back making your hamburger at the restaurant. They everywhere and blended in. They infiltrated just about every society on the planet, especially
Mm.
the ones that call themselves so-called secret. But if you watch the movie Avatar, even part one and part two, they go amongst the people looking like them, but they ain't them. They really was Tamahus in a machine transferring their conscious to the one person to the next, and they wanted the mineral rights to their land,
Mm.
right? So they had a home tree, and so they sent beings in to learn their ways and to
Mm.
infiltrate them, and eventually get them off their home tree. So the
Mm.
same thing is what, when you're talking about black nobility, this we they talking about people who are really avatars, that they really were reptilians, really. That's why they was able to drink blood and eat children
Mm.
without it being no thing. But then so we're dealing with that. We're dealing with beings who came to Earth in these Hindu avatars,
Okay.
right? Then we speed up to, because I can go long on that, but then we speed up to the Yaku situation. Yaku,
Mm-hmm.
Yaku was essentially I can't say he was extraterrestrial because he was born on Earth, but his mothers and his ancestors, which was two different types of races of extraterrestrials. One of them you refer to as the Coneheads. They also refer to as the Terus, and then another group, which was his father's side, which was the Danako. They got double side head craniums, and they found the skulls of these people. They found the skulls of the Coneheads, and both groups actually mixed in with the people on Earth, especially the Kushites. That's why some of the people got cone over in certain areas got cone shaped heads.
Mhm,
Some of them got
mhm,
receding hairlines. This comes from these Danakos beings mixing in with the
mm.
humans, but they didn't come to the surface. They went and set up like advanced cities in the center of the earth, and they actually still live down there. You can go study Admiral Byrd and other guys like that. They talk about
Mhm.
Shambhala and Ottaga, the center of the earth. And my master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, really laid all this down in a book that he put out called The Holy Tablets, right?
Okay.
But what happens is we got to talk about Yaku, because Yaku is really where the mechanism begin to turn after all of the stuff that I just told you. Yaku, he gets influenced by another group of beings called Ashtar Command, who had the ability to time travel, and so they
Mhm,
wanted to advance their, and they are a pale white extraterrestrials who claim to be from Plates, but they actually from Cyrus B, which burned out, and that's why they say ash star, because the star burnt out. After a fire burns out, you see ashes, and they really on the only the airborne regiment to this group, because the real group, the ground unit, is lizard reptilian Greco looking beings that bipedal that walk upright. But going to Yaku, if most people know the story of Yaku, the big head scientist who
yes.
had the idea to create this superior race by drafting them out of uh, the Hindus and
Mm,
and yeah, drafted him out the Hindu. So it took him, and he actually people we was under the impression that it took place in Africa in the island of Pat, and then they went to the island of Patmos, but it actually happened in South America. The experiment where they was drafting these Caucasians, they wasn't even called Caucasians, so they went to Caucasus Mountain, but that's another. We'll get into that. But they was drafting these lighter skinned beings out of, because Zaku found out that it was an extra gene, a brown germ, according to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, inside of these Asiatic black mans. Really, and they really was the Hindus, the dark skinned jet black Hindus with straight hair, 6 ether hair. And so over a period of 600 years of selected marriage and
mm,
interbreeding, they he came out with this Caucasian race, and one of the names for them is called the Fugaloids. That's what Doc called them in the Holy Tablets, the Fugaloids.
mm,
So this Fugaloid would be become a scapegoat or middleman for their overlords, because when Yaku didn't get to finish his experiment, he passed away before the experiment was complete. But he left these dark skinned jet black Hindus in charge of the experiment, and
mm,
they would marry the what you call so-called white folks, but that's another misnomer, because the white and black thing is just dealing with the Carlos Linnaeus game and dealing with status. But these pale people over generations, they would begin to marry back into each other. So that's why you see later on down the line Moors like that married Queen Isabella. Queen Isabella was a mulatto or an albino, and her husband was a Moor.
mm,
But let me go back. So Yaku, after he got through drafting this race, he taught them a thing called tricknology, and this is where they get. This is how they get all of the stuff that they're gonna later on implement to take over secretly the whole world, right?
mm,
And technology, I got a whole tape breaking down what he taught his people. He taught them about infiltration. He taught them about how to get a middleman, which was be their scapegoat. So he'd be the fall guy, and it won't come back. So you would be thinking that it's the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, but secretly they middlemans, they the fall guy, they the scapegoat. And that don't mean that they ain't just as guilty as the suckers who
Okay.
son them, right? They just as guilty as the people who son them, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they would leave out of South America and make their way up into America first. And
Mm.
they would start, yeah, mixing in and interbreeding with the Moors that were already in America, because the Moors origin from America. They would start interbreeding. They would come up into our Holy Land, because this was America was considered as the Holy Land, right? So they would
Wow.
come up in our Holy Land with their technology and their middleman guys and their overlords, which later on become known as the Felicians. That's one name for them. And we got information dating back 30,000 years on the Felicians. They found that in the Byron Cave in Illinois. They found ship artifacts and paintings on the wall, and which they Smithsonian Institute is covering up about the Felicians being in America first and being in 30,000 years ago or longer, right? So um, and that's another thing too, because the timelines are messed up, because Yaku's story only go they tell us only got back 6,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they will work their way up into our land, and they brought certain customs with them. They worship these Aldebarans and these reptilians, these Dragon reptilians, and they would sacrifice people to children to these gods in order to get, because it goes back to Baal too. Baal is Adad. Adad is Enlil's son. Enlil is the son of Anu. They come with the Anunnakis, right? So they would sacrifice children. They would do later on what would become known as Babylonian blood magic and
Mm-hmm.
drinking blood. And this actually was stemmed down into Christianity, where they think they giving praise to Jesus, but they drinking blood and eating his body. That's cannibalism. Cannibalism. They talking about its symbolism of eating his body and drinking his blood. But why would you want to eat somebody's body and drink their blood, even if it's symbolism? That's a bunch of game.
Okay.
That was created by these same guys. Christianity was created by these same guys,
Mm.
um, which they stole from the Dogon people who got taught by the Nomos. The fish gods taught them Christianity, but it wasn't Christianity. They taught them the motion of the stars and how the sun move around in 12 star constellations, and so they took that, and then in ancient Egypt, to teach the children this information, they applied characters to these different astrological points. Like the sun became Haru, and then later on Jesus, later on down the line. But then the 12 disciples became the zodiacs became the 12 disciples, and etc. But I don't want to get too far ahead. So they came up into our land. Yeah, we're gonna the codes of Alarumba too. Somebody said something about the codes of Alarumba. But they came up into our land with the technology, and started infiltrating us, started trying to find a way to take over us. You hear about this when we get up to the storyline of Akmos and Kakmos, who was actually in America. They was actually in America, in Georgia. Matter of fact, the whole South, like all the way up to Texas. Akmos and Kakmos, their dad named Sukhintare Toe was building a temple, and the leader of these Hyksos, which is another name for these people, these leader of these Hyksos name was a Papist, which was a dark skinned black nobility at the time. And the Hyksos were these drafted people that they drafted to be their middle guys. But what happens is they were doing all this devilishment in our land too, and what made Akmos and Kakmos rise up is their dad was murdered by three ruffians, and this play out in the Masonic information about the three ruffians. When you get to the third degree, they go through a ritual where three ruffians knock the master with the key in the head, and because they couldn't get the key, they kill him, right? But they were sent by a papist, right? Their ruler. So once they kill Sakinta Toe, this start Kakmos to rise up and want to kick these guys out. And another name for them are the Jacobites, right? Dr. Malachi Z. York talk about that in a book called it's called the Millennial Book. I got those books too. Volume 1 and Volume 2 is in Volume 1. the millennial book. But he talks about how these Jacobites, who would later become your Hebrews and all that, and they stole the name Israel because they talk about it in their doctrine where they say, "Oh, these people wrestled God. This Jacob, I wrestled God. How
Yeah.
can you wrestle a God?" And he wrestled God for so long until God gave him the name Israel, and then he let him go, which is a bunch
Mhm.
of allegory, but
Mhm.
it's actually based on true information, based on the ideology. But like I said, these Jacobites, they were doing all these blood sacrifices and rituals on our children over here, and so we caused the uprising. And Arkmos them, and Arkmos them had a military. They were called the Magi's. They actually stemmed down from the Knights of Michael and the craft of Amen Ra. They were trained in the Mantu art form. Mantu is the
Mhm.
origin of all your kung fu and karate that they talk about, right? So these Magi's were like the modern day ninjas back then, during that time in the 15 BCs, when Akmos and Kakmos began to uprise against these Hyksos. And so
Okay.
uh, we're gonna get into the part how they become the black nobility and all that. We get into that, but this is how it starts. And keep in mind, these Hyksos is coming down from the Yaku experiment.
Mm.
Uh, so they eventually overthrow these guys, round them all up, cable tow them up, because they cable tow you when you go into the Masonic Lodge, and they
Mm.
blindfold them all, and they took all everything they had, they medals and all that. They actually do this when you go to the Masonic Lodge. They take all your medals, they take your shoes and all that. They took it. Arkmos and Cockmos took everything from them, blindfolded them, and cable towed them, and then we put them on ships and crossed
Mm.
them over. That's what really Hebrew means, to cross over, right? So
Okay.
we crossed them over. We crossed these beings over and took them to the caves and took them to what they call in Georgia in the Caucasus Mountains. This is how they get the name
Mm.
Caucasian. Caucus
Wow.
means deteriorated flesh. Yeah, that's how they get the name Caucasians when they got trapped in Europe, which means caves in hillside. That's what it means. The rope them in. We roped them in, and they were supposed to be bound for 1,000 years there, right? Now, meanwhile, their overlords, which were the dark skinned, these black hand guys, which become known as the Felicians, they would later go rescue them out of the caves after a certain amount of
Mhm.
hundreds of generations. They went and started first capturing the Caucasian women, and they brought them back into their fold and started shaving them up. They were hairy, smelly,
Mm.
so they shaved them. They would clean them up, and then they would put dresses on them, put perfume on them, and then some of these Felicians started liking the way they was looking, and
Wow.
it is actually the trigger of what Yaku taught of interbreeding with these people. So all of these Felicians would start marrying these pale Europeans, or they were really weren't Europeans, because the original Europeans were dark skinned Moors eventually. But because they come, like I say, they come out of Argentina as an experiment, right? They
Mhm.
don't got no land. They don't got no indigenous land on the planet. They are not even natural to the planet, and that's why the sun attacked them. But
Mhm.
yeah, if you natural to the planet, the sun wouldn't attack you. But they eventually start pulling these by like around 900 BC. They start getting the Caucasian women at first, and some of these more I don't really want to call them Moors at this point,
Mhm.
really. The Felicians, right? They start marrying these pale white Caucasians and having children with them. These children became known as the mulattoes,
Mm.
and based on the Yaku programming, when that mulatto was born, then they would marry into another pale Caucasian. So after about 6 generations of doing this, most of the they bleach most of the dark people out, the
Oh.
ones that wasn't wiped out, because Arkmos and Cockmos them and the Magi's were what you call vampire hunters, because these beings were vampires. They were drinking blood, eating children, and they got kicked out of a lot of places because of this. But speaking back up to like they start marrying them, having mulatto children. The mulatto children would inherit the wealth of these wealthy Felicians, right?
Mm.
All right, then these Phoenicians, these black Phoenicians or dark-skinned Phoenicians had a vendetta against us because we kicked them out. We exiled them from over here, right? We exiled, but they acting like they ain't did nothing, but the whole time they really was eating children and sacrificing children to Mulak and Baal them. So yeah, we exiled them. And so they always had a vendetta of that we're gonna get back at these guys for kicking us out. That's why out of everybody in the world, the people over in America are the ones who been done the worst. And we being robbed of our indigenous rights, all that, our identity, everything. We got that's why they did this, right? Because they had a
Mm.
vendetta against us because we kicked them out from over here.
Oh, wow.
So they would build these families up by, like I say, marrying into these pale white Caucasus Mountain people. Uh, and then once they saw how profit, they set up what they call Harlem, right? You can go get books called A Night in the Moorish Harlem, where they actually still were treating them like they became like the dogs, like dogs to these Felicians, the Canaanites, right? And they're not even the original Canaanite. The original Canaanites are the Afar people, the Afarcans, right? In that the land, but the original land of Canaan really was in Chicago, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it was in Chicago. That's what they don't want to tell you.
No.
Um, yeah, so um, over like I say, 6 generations of marrying and bleaching out. Um, they would later also, like I said, they set up the Moorish Harlems. This is your first brothels and this and that, right? The Felicians was your first pimps. Uh, so these were your first brothels where they were selling these women, and the Moors would come to the Harlem and have sex, and the freaky Moors, because these pale women was down with whatever. They'll take it, you know what I'm saying? I can't I don't want to get too nasty, but all of the stuff they would do whatever. They'll take it in any hole. They you know what I'm saying? They were the freaks of freaks, right? And so some of the freaky Moors like that they were nasty like that because some of them were nasty,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a part of it, right? And
Yeah.
then also they would later, after a certain amount of generations of doing it, they found out, hey, well, we can get the men, these Caucasian men, shave them up, put a sword in their hand and a shield, and we can make them like our Sikkim dog, like our mercenaries. No,
Wow.
they start some of these Felicians train them in the Mantu art form, and they didn't train them that good because they didn't want them to turn against them. They just trained them enough to where they can fight and be barbaric type. And you got to keep in mind, these were people who smelled like shit. They were like, they didn't take baths. Still, like, even up until like the early 1800s, these people didn't even take baths, but once a week, twice, once every 2 weeks. They only had like three outfits, so they
Mm.
were smelly. They had wooden teeth and all that. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't want to get. I'm going all over the place, but I'm trying to stay on the subject. I mean, stay on the chronicle timeline.
Okay.
So they start pulling them out. They made them what you call mercenaries, and then after all this was rolling on, they said, okay, we need a mechanism. We need mechanisms to enslave people with.
Mm.
And this is when they start setting up the religions. They set up Christianity first. Christianity was existing before Judaism and Islam. And
Okay.
like I say, Christianity is it's an ancient Egyptian religion, really. Well, it wasn't a religion, it was an ancient Egyptian paradigm, science, where they taught the children about the motion of the stars. And they took that
Mhm.
and turned those different attributes, like the sun, like I say, the 12 disciples, and all of the star systems into people, so that they can teach it into like a storyline. So they actually sent people like one of their goons, like Julius Piso, who was one of the guys that sent in to paradigm this information and turn it into a play or a storyline. And this what stems your Christianity. And they
Mhm.
would later, once they got once they infiltrated most of all of the royal families on the lot on the land, like in Africa and in over here. Well, they would later come back over here later, but they started infiltrating Europe first, Africa and these areas, and intermingling with the head guys and marrying into the head guys, because the Luciferians' whole game is infiltration and to get in bed with us, right? And
Yes.
marry into us, because how you gonna get rid of the devil when he married you and had kids? That man, that's hard to get.
That is
That's hard to
hard.
get rid of. That's
Mhm.
hard to get rid of those type of people that's in bed with you. You know, he
Mhm.
in bed with you. So uh, they would set up this Roman, so-called Roman Empire, right? Romans like Romans, Arab. Arab means those who roamed, right? Like
Oh,
Arabia in Arabic means like an automobile, car, right?
wow.
So these are people who roamed the land, roamed around because they didn't have no home. They technically didn't
Mm,
have no home because they're not from Earth. They're avatars, just like the movie Avatar. Them people wasn't from Earth. I mean, they wasn't from the planet Naboo, or they call it Pandora. They wasn't from there. They came from Earth and then took avatars that looked like them and infiltrated them to steal their mineral rights, they Earth-born rights. I mean, or they planet-born rights,
mm,
right? So they leading up to them creating and really stamping it right around 2325 AD with the Nicene Council, where they formed this make-believe religion to conquer the world,
mm,
right? And so their whole muscle plan is coming down from this Roman Catholic system, where they were able to later on set up the papacies. They infiltrated the Roman. When they set it up, they became the popes and all this. And
mm.
so they would later pass things starting with the Spanish Inquisition. They actually shook. They actually and another. You can also for the Bible guys, because we got Bible guys in here.
Yeah.
These people would be your Hamites. Hamite
Mm,
means burnt black, right? And yeah, and then Ham had a son named Canaan, and Canaan would be your albanos. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 30. Leviticus chapter
mm.
13, 14, verse 34. They had leprosy. Leprosy means
Yes.
to turn white according to their doctrine. For
Yes.
Exodus 4, 6, Numbers 12, 10. Well, Miriam, Moses' sister, turned white. White. So turning white, if you study it in science, it means albino. Because and it's the same ideologies Yaku had. So we have an albino. Certain dark skinned people have albino gene, and
Mhm.
they can be two dark skinned parents, and they can be born with yellow hair, because we talk about the yellow hair, Leviticus 13:30. So they be born with yellow hair, and their eyes, they would be born with no pigment. Some of them will
Yes.
come out with blue eyes and different color eyes, right? So that's another those stories tie into this same thing that I'm telling you about, the drafting out of these pale guys, right? And
Mm,
so speeding up to them setting up and shaking hands and really making these guys the front man in 1476. 1476, this is when they shook hands in Timbuktu, and they created the Masonic handshakes to because these guys, they only had 2 degrees when they came over here. And like I said, Sakente Reto was a master mason, a master builder, and he had the master's password. And they were trying to get the master, the third. They had made it up to fellow craftsmen, and they were trying to get to master mason, but they never made that. And
mm,
so they killed, like I said, they killed Sakente Reto, and he never revealed the password to him. Then they later on went on and created their own passwords later on down the line. But yeah, so yeah, 1476, they shake hands with these guys who you calling the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and all these guys who are really Canaanites, right? Jebusites and this and etc. They shake hands with these guys and make a deal with them that they will let them hold some of the wealth, and it's in exchange for being a front man, um or they servants. And the book, they book or they doctrine actually attests to this when it says Genesis chapter 9:25, where it says that curse be canon, a servant shall he be to his brothers. Now some people going
mm,
out and saying, oh yeah, wait, they talking about servant Shem. No, Shem wasn't his brother. Shem was his cousin.
mm,
Japhet and them was his cousin. his brothers were the sons of Ham, who he had 11 sons and one daughter. And they most of them, all of them came out as Albanos except one brother, right? But they would be servants onto this servant to his brother. So they would be the middleman, they would be the fall guy, they would be the scapegoat to blame. So everybody's saying the white man this, but the whole time it's some burnt black Hamites who they serving on the back end, right? So speeding up to 1476, then we speed up to the start, I think it's 1478, the start of the Spanish Inquisition. This is where our problems really begin at, is with the Spanish Inquisition. Right? From the Spanish Inquisition, they passed the doctrine of discovery, and all this is being manipulated by these black hand, dark-skinned Phoenicians and their puppets, because the Phoenicians are the puppet masters, and their kin or their descendants who was bred out of them is these, like I say, these Canaanites or these so-called Caucasian people. They would then pass the doctrine of discovery. I don't know if you're familiar with the doctrine of discovery, but the doctrine of discovery said that anybody that's not a Christian, when you go to their land, they're not a Christian, you can rape, pillage, and rob them and enslave them, right? And this was actually a manipulated thing set up on purpose by these Phoenicians so they can get back at us. Wow. Another thing is the fiat monetary system. They learned that from Kublai and them, who were the Vietnamese, where they sent their first agent, Marco Polo, right? You know, he played Marco Polo in the pool. Marco Polo was a dark-skinned agent sent into the Venetians, not the Venetians, the Vietnamese, and to learn their system and pretty much overthrow them. Wow. And they found out that these Mongoloids, right? These Mongoloids had a certain type of mailing system where they created a fiat monetary system where they can they can fund armies with this paper type money. The Phoenicians didn't know nothing about that until they learned that from the Mongoloids. And they actually would take that idea and implement it all around the world to create this central bank. But let me go back, because I had to tell you that part about them learning from the Mongoloids. And they actually would start loaning money to the Mongoloids, and then because it's like the economic hitman. They were sending pretty much Marco Polo was their first economic hitman, and sent out against to the east. Sent out against the Vietnamese and Kublai Khan and his brother. They actually turned Kublai Khan and his brother against each other and had them fighting each other. And they loaned money to both of them. They loaned money to because this is one of their mechanisms where they loan money to both sides. And it don't matter who wins, both of y'all gonna pay me in the end. It don't matter who. They still doing this today. Well, it's over with now. It's a wrap on them. But so they learned the fiat monetary system. They learn how to turn your kingdom inside out by turning two brothers against each other. And so they would take Marco Polo would take that information and pass it back to his overlords, and they will later implement this everywhere. They also began doing the same thing as the economic hitman. They'll give you a large loan that you really ain't gonna never be able to pay back, and it's always strings attached to it. And so one of the strings attached to it was once you owe us, we in control of your military. And so the first military that they would use to try to start conquering a lot of lands were the Mongoloids. The Mongoloids were one of their first military arms before they took over DC and made that the military arm, right? Of this Vatican, of this the Mystery Babylon, right? Because they built the Mystery Babylon is their mechanism, right? So after they get through, so go back now. I had to tell you about that part, but go back now, speeding up to 1476 Spanish Inquisition, Doctrine of Discovery. They heavily infiltrated this organization called the Jesuits and all that, which was a part and it's another one. It's a couple more like Knights of Motra, a whole bunch of other ones that tie into that. And the Jesuits, and I think I said the Jesuits, and the Knights of Templar, right? And Freemasonry, which actually don't come from them. It actually come from us. We are the master masons, or the Moors. We the ones that were laying stone and doing all of this, right? But they also would pass papacies, different type papacies, by popes who were actually a part of their bloodline, who infiltrated these guys, and they would use all of these doctrines or all of these this paperwork to go conquer the world, right? So that's where our main problems begin, is with the Spanish Inquisition, then speeding up to Ferdinand and Isabella, who actually come around that same. They are actually part of the beginning of the Spanish Inquisition. Keep in mind, Ferdinand was a dark-skinned Moor. Well, I don't want to call them Moors because a lot of them be avatars, reptilians, like I'm saying. But he was a dark-skinned brother, and he married Isabella, who was an albino, a light-skinned chick, right? And he was in love with her, and he would do everything she said do. And so Isabella is another pivot point for these dark-skinned black hand guys, where Isabella and Fernand set up your first COINTELPRO operations based on all the coming down from the technology that Yaku taught them, how to infiltrate, how to use blackmail. They used to take over Granada, which was they said it was Granada really wasn't the last stronghold of the Moors, right? The last stronghold of the Moors was Tripoli, which they sacked, which the Marines, U.S. Marines sacked in the 1800s. But they'll lie to you and tell you that our last stronghold of the righteous Moors, who were actually Muslims, by the way, in Granada, right, controlled by Ali. So Isabella sent her agents and her goons and goblins in to infiltrate Granada. Why? Because at the time, it was that people called the Barber Moors and other pirates who were Moors in the Caribbean islands and they roamed the seas like sharks looking for booty. And booty in pirate terms is gold and loot. That's what they call pirate called. So they roam the sea waiting on Caucasians, anybody that wasn't Muslims, to get booty with them. They wanted to get booty with anybody that wasn't Muslims. And so they were scared to come over this way before 1492. They were scared to come over this way. Okay. So they, in order to be able for this Venetian arm that they created, in order for them to get, because it's all about getting at us over here in the ancient land, in the Holy Land. This was all about getting at us. All the other people they sacked was just part of the get down, but it was all about overthrowing us, because the real natural wealth, the real technology, the real power of the earth is based out of America, because of going back to Tahuti and the city of the gods. All the technology was coming from over here. Still to this very day, you can go get a book called Black Inventions. Everybody's invented the stoplight, all of this ice box, the light bulb, all that's coming from America.
Even AI.
Coming from America. That's right. That's right. So Isabella was sending her goons and goblins into Granada to overthrow the Moors. Eventually, through infiltration, through blackmail, I mean, the list goes, all the the COINTELPRO, black jacketing, propaganda. I mean, all the tactics of the COINTELPRO. This is started by Isabella. It really go back to Yaku, but Isabella put a stamp on it, man. And so that after a certain amount of years of them doing this, they end up turning some of the creating what they call informants, turning our own people. That's how they do. They blackmail some of our people amongst us, and then turn them as informants. So she created, Isabella and Fernand them created the first informants, and they would come back and report to Isabella and say, "Oh yeah, this is what they're doing. This is how we could do it." And the whole time they needed, in order, because they keep in mind, they trying to get back at us over here from kicking them out from 1,000 and some years ago. So they needed the flag. They needed that flag of Granada, and they needed the seal in order to seal a paperwork, because every ship on the seas got to come with what they call a birth certificate, and that's going to later stem into us, where they made us lost at sea, labeled us as black, got us lost at sea under sanctums and the subsequent trust. They got us lost at sea and telling us we from Africa, this and that. They study trying to mislead us, but I'm gonna get to that part too. But so every ship need a birth certificate, Now, if you don't got that birth certificate, you fair game to these barbers and the pirates of the Caribbeans. Somebody trying to comment.
Okay. Go ahead and take a breath,
Hold
Elder.
on, somebody.
Somebody,
Hold on. Hold on. That's my.
go ahead.
It must my
Elder,
back. Can you
hold
hear
on.
me?
I can hear you, but before you go on, family, hit that like button. I tried to put the Elder's banner here, but for some reason, when I stream the StreamYard, it's showing as a portfolio. It's orchestrated a strange way. So when I try to put your Cash App, they said it's covering your face. But please support the young Elder family. Please send him a donation. I'll do this for all my guests. You can send him a Cash App to $ the young elder. Just like that's how you can remember the young elder. THEYOUNGELDER. The $ the young elder. You can also send him a PayPal donation. PayPal is paypal.me/theyoungelder23. So at the bottom of the screen, and some places, some platforms, you might see it at the top of the screen. I'm streaming the young elders Cash App. So go ahead, Elder. I apologize for interrupting.
Yeah. So, and keep in mind they had already started creating these what they call pale skin mercenaries from the ones they pull out the cave. These will later become known as your pale Vikings, even though Hannibal and them the north out of Carthagena, they were the first Vikings really. But these people would take on that attribute of being your Vikings, right? Later. But stemming up, like they couldn't come over here to the west to get to us because the righteous Moors who were Muslims and pirates, they were like Rome protecting this. They were like the Navy and the Coast Guards protecting what they call in Turtle Island, Mexam, right? The great land. They were protecting it, so they couldn't get over here. So they needed a way to be able to sneak past these Berber Moors without them noticing, and that's eventually how Christopher Columbus get over it. But they caught the Muslims in Granada with their pants down because what they did is being that they were Christians and the Muslims pray 5 times a day. So they studied this. The Muslims pray 5, so they knew that if we infiltrate them while they praying, it'll be the perfect time. So that's how they end up. They infiltrated them and conquered them and attacked them while they were praying in Granada. And so that's how then when they had them with their pants down, they had them hey, you got to get down or lay down. They get up the keys. Ali had to hand the keys over to Isabella. Now, what them keys came with is paperwork. It came with shipwrights. It came with a seal that they can stamp because it's like this. If you like by yourself and you don't got nobody bagging you, you know what I'm saying? They like, oh, they ain't gonna be no get back if we take these people's shit. But if you with the Mexican cartel or somebody that's known to be dangerous, people really gonna think twice before they try to rob you or jack you. So it was kind of like that thing. If you were with the Muslim Moors or some king that bagging you, they feel like we robbed them, is gonna be repercussions. But so they needed that seal from Granada and the paperwork in order to be able to legitimize their ship. And they used their false flagging is flying somebody's flag that's not yours. A lot of pirates on the sea still do this in order not to get robbed or something like that, because there's still pirates out there, by the way, that's robbing people. Right? Okay. Yeah, still to this very day. Certain groups hunt them, but once they got that ship, I mean that paperwork, they were able to now to false flag over here. Also, that Granada situation ties into what you call an April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day is when they tricked the Moors to thinking that they were going to let them leave, right? And they because the Moors would have barricaded themselves in their house after these Christians who came and slaughtered everybody, right? Because people talk Christianity, they don't know none of this. They don't know the background of these demons who were slaughtering and burning everybody at the stake, calling them witches and warlocks because they practiced their original culture, right? If it wasn't Christianity, it's demonic. If they can't monetize it, it's demonic. So you got to stop doing it, right? It's that type of thing. But what happens is is once they got that paperwork and got them seals, now they and that flag, now they can fly the Granada flag, and the Granada the Moors or the Barbers who's on the seas, guarding the seas. Now the Granada was their kin, and they were Muslims, so they don't rob Muslims, so they can easily go right by them. And they when the pirates see the Granada flag up there, they gonna let them make it because that's our people. That's what they thinking. And they also, like I say, April Fool's Day is where the Moors barricaded themselves in the house. And then when they act like the Christians act like they were gonna let them leave. And then when they came out the house to get on the ship, they burned down their house and they burned the ships that they was on. But they kept the navigators. They kept the Moorish navigators, right? And they held their family as prisoners. So they said, if Christopher Columbus don't make it back, your family gonna die. So if you was a Moor back then and your family is being held, you kind of in a tight situation to help these demons out to get back over to America. Because these Moors, the Moors that helped Columbus get over here, some of them was already shipmen that was already coming back and forth to America already before they even met Christopher Columbus. They was already coming over, the brothers that helped him navigate over here. But they came on ships that they stole from Granada, the ones that didn't burn down. But they was all orchestrated and perpetuated by Queen Isabella and her goons and goblins and her dark-skinned counterpart Ferdinand, right? But so this is your first time we didn't even see Caucasians over here for a long time after we kicked them out. We didn't see none over here until even Christopher Columbus was a mulatto, a Sephardic Jew secretly. He was a mulatto. He had Moorish bloodline secretly. Christopher Columbus. And he got a couple more other code names. Christopher Columbus, not even his real name, technically. But like I say, with that flag, they able to sneak with false flagging. They sneaked by the Moors, and Christopher Columbus was sent as a spy. But he was really backdooring Isabella and them. He was a double agent. He really was working for the Venetians, the Felicians, the Black Hand, the Black Nobility. He really was an agent, double agent. So he ended up backdooring Queen Isabella and them for these Venetians eventually. But his job was to come over here and do exactly what Marco Polo did. Find out our monetary system. Find out our mailing system. Because that's how they took over the Mongoloids. Meanwhile, they still got the Mongoloids as their under their arm. They put the Mongoloids in debt and their kings in debt so that they could take over their military. And they used that military to take over pretty much all of Europe, take over parts of Africa, right? These Mongoloids. That's why you see when you see in Mongoloid invasions, they are sent by the Black Hand nobility, due to them putting them in debt with the Marco Polo incident. All right.
Is that who the Native Americans are? Are they working also for the Hidden Hand? The so-called Native Americans, they're Mongoloid.
You talking about the some of them Mongoloid. Now some of them come out of working for the Black Hand, but some of them came over here on their own, like doing Hoshin. Hoshin was allowed to come in and mix in with us. But this is way before. The Huns and all them come and the Huguenots. This is way before that. You're talking about in 450 is when Hushin them built ships, sail over to California. That's why you got Chinatown in California. That's why a lot of people like Brandy got Asian in her, and Ray J and them they grandma on them Asian. Yeah. You can look at them. They got don't Brandy look like a black Asian? Yeah. So when they come over, the Armax were here. The Armax is us. They try to lie and tell you they everybody else with the features they got. These were dark. These were us. The Armax that was already over here, right? And so they come over here and they are allowed to mix in with us, right? They are allowed to mix in with us, and this creates your Mexican. Your Mexicans are mixed with Chinese, yeah. And and these ones that came over here, they actually were dark skinned beings. They the Hushin, they were dark skinned agents, yeah. And that's why if you go back and pull up some of the old pictures of the Lakotas and the Hopi and all these people, they blacker than my shirt. I mean, blacker than the black right here on my hat. Some of them, they blacker than we are now. Cause we really the red man, right? When you stem it down, if you go with the Carlos and the Nez thing, but yeah, they was able to they allowed in the 450s, we let them mix in with us. Now they also some people say they brought the dragon worship with them because Chinese worship the dragon. They got the dragon flag. They do all that. They they old ancient flag they changed it up now, but it used to be a dragon on their flag, and they still have dragon parades and all this. So they worship, and it's all through India and all through Asia. There's the Naga influence, the Naga culture, right? We got it over here too, down in South America, where you see the dragons and all that on the front of the pyramids. And some people say, oh, they brought that over here. But I can beg to differ on that. Doc did say that, but I can beg to differ now that we found out that these Hindus are the ones that had it, right? The Hindus are the ones that had the Naga culture. They're the one that brought it from their planet Nirvana, from the Procon star system, which is 11 point some light years away, right? But yeah, like I was saying, Christopher Columbus. So like on the West Coast, we got people with Asian features and Asian in their bloodline. And so some of them are our children. Now the ones you see that's mixed with Asian, and then it's another group that came down on the Bering Strait. They are what you call Eskimos. They mixed in. We didn't allow them to mix in with us too much, but they are what you call Eskimos. They live up in Alaska and these areas, and some of them in Canada, right? So you got 3 or 4 different waves of agents coming in, but the first wave of agents actually we let them mix in with us, and they were actually dark skinned. Okay. Some of them who were the bad guys, we actually we knew about the ocean drift from the Pacific. You can ride a current without even us having a sail. The Moors knew about the ocean currents that you can catch the wave, and you don't even need a sail. It'll take you all the way back to China, right? So we knew about that. So what we did is put these people who mixed in with us, and the Mayans, right? They mixed in with us, and we put them back on ships and made them go back to China. They actually landed in Japan. So Japanese really they come out of America after the mix with Hoshin. But that's another story on that side, right? On the West Coast, they actually land on the West Coast, and then you got the Huns and all them coming down from what these Black Venetians sent over to under the Mongoloid Empire because the Mongoloid Empire, like I said, had got usurped by these guys, these Black Venetians. And a lot of these Venetians, if you put up the families, all of them look white now because they bleached all of them out. And then the ones that wasn't being hunted down by the vampire hunters called the Magi's, they went underground and set up underground cities. It's underground cities all around the world. It's over 300 underground, major, big, huge cities. Some of them are bigger than the cities above ground, underground, right? So a lot of the dark-skinned ones were forced underground, while they kept their counterparts, who you see now as the Black nobility, as their they really kin to them. They drafted out of them, right? So going back to Columbus. So Columbus, at this point, we got the Doctrine of Discovery. We got Papacy already passed. They had later passed more to try to seize a lot of shit. But Christopher Columbus, as a double agent, he was to come over here and spy on us, figure out how our mailing system worked, figure out how our monetary system worked, because they wanted to put us in debt so that they can enslave us and pay us back for kicking them off from over here. So he would come over here, get all of it. That's why he had a diary. His diary really was a notebook to take, like a spy, to take notes on us, take that back to his masters, and then they can sit down with a think tank and figure out how to take over our land. And so, boom, Christopher Columbus go back. He go back and tell them, because when he came over here, he saw different tribes. Man, they were rocking gold, like the real gold, like 24 carats, show enough gold, National Geographic gold. Now, think about this. They telling you all the natural wealth is in Africa, and it's a lot of natural wealth in Africa, but African, so-called African, and he can be classified as an African because he was a part of the Afar tribe. I tell everybody the Romans is the ones that start calling them Africans during the Punic Wars in 146, and they only call the people in North Africa Africans, and that was the Afar people, the Afar Khans, right? Because you got Africans, Puerto Ricans,
Yeah.
Americans, Moroccans. You got Jamaicans.
What?
See, they changed it, said can, but when we are the can family, and they've been kicking the can for quite some time, right? But all of us are kin in a way through the con, right? But there was only one tribe in Africa. The Twa wasn't called Africans. The Watusis wasn't called Africans. The Stands man, which is some of the oldest people on the planet, and they actually, I think they came out of South America. They're not called Africans at the time during 146 when these Romans, the same guys who was using the Mongoloids and their military to conquer these lands, they wasn't called Africans. What was they called before then, right? So that's another thing though, because for the people that talk about the African thing, but so Christopher Columbus, the first people that he would contact and starts implementing this doctrine of discovery, this fool went around renaming countries as he riding around, like he was just almighty Ra, somebody. You know? Saying he went around, oh, this is gonna be El Salvador. This is gonna be this. Yeah, he went around calling shit. Yeah, he great clown. Yeah, so he would land on Puerto Rico first, and they would savage them people, man. They would rape, lynch, murder, burn them. And because they wasn't Christians, this is under the doctrine of discovery. And then they would work their way. The Spanish, we're dealing with the Spaniards, so-called Spaniards first, and the black conquistadors who were Africans. And the first group Spaniards, like I said, they were dark-skinned people too. I don't even want to call them Moors at this point because people act like M-U-U-R and M-O-O-R. That's different. No, it's not. Because if I say it more, which one if I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about. It's a bunch of crap that they're trying to play, man. It's a bunch of crap. More is more. You know what I'm saying? These people were reptilian avatars and human. They were, man. So he would go around, pillage them. They would first take over the original ancient land, which is down in South America, in Peru and in Chile, right? And they would start raping and pillaging them. And they would use the same methods that they used when they conquered the Mongoloids with Marco Polo, when they overthrew the Moors in Granada. They would use infiltration. They would use turn our own people into Judases, meaning pay them to get them information and turn against us. And the ones they couldn't turn, they would try to get in bed with and marry them and have children with them. So you can't get rid of me. Or when I got kids with you, even if you don't be with me, I'm a part of your bloodline. You know what I'm saying? It's like that type of thing. And so they would work their all the way up. And so we're dealing with the Spaniards first. But the whole goal was to reclassify us, right? To ultimately take over our monetary system or the way we do our bartering system or the way we exchange goods, commerce, take over our commerce. And revamp it, and it took them a long time to do this. They'd actually get it off the ground until about around solid until 1933 when they set up the Federal Reserve, which is owned by these guys, these private bank guys who had set up and before that though, before coming over here, before they got Christopher Columbus over here, they went into set up in London. They ended up getting kicked out over there, and they had to go underground. Then they actually leave what they call an Ethiopia today. They said they left out of there. They got kicked out from over there. Then they went into Transylvania. That's why they tell you that Dracula bloodline goes to Transylvania, right? And they saying that the prince, what his name is, he become the king now, but he's now living. He's a direct descendant of Count Dracula. They saying, which actually was a brother as well. He was a dark-skinned vampire, right? But they say that his bloodline stem from them. He's actually over there living in the Dracula's house, in Vlad's house, with children, with little kids. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy shit. Yeah, I got a video of a little kid jumping out the Buckingham Palace, which actually was built by Moors, by the way. Yeah, King George's mother and them, all of them were Moors. And I don't even want to call them Moors. They really were Africans, right? They really were Africans because King George's mother was a Bantu that lived in Germany. They from Germany. The first people in Germany are the Bantu people. This is the people that Adolf Hitler really was torturing and running the experiments on. They were running experiments on the Bantu people. They had bombed these people. And right now to this day, some of their ancestors escaped and went down to South Africa, and Germany is offered to pay them trillions of dollars in reparations for what they did to their people. And it's a book out called The German Holocaust that talk about this, right?
Okay.
But they said, we don't want no money. We don't want none of your money. Ain't nothing you can pay us to do. The people down there said, we don't want your money. Ain't nothing you can do to repay us for what you did to our people, man. You cracked us out. They introduced crack back in the 20s. Hitler got crack, the formula for crack from Ashdod Command. And he got other drugs too, other formulas for drugs too, like acid and the serpentine fire, they call it methamphetamines. He got a lot of these formulas from extraterrestrials and technology as well. He got technology like the Bell and all them technologies they're working on. That came from the same guys who influenced Yaku, Ashdod Command, who was some pale white. They call themselves the Great White Brotherhood. And so Hitler had cracked out Poland, which was full of Bantu people. He introduced crack to them. Go look up Operation Werewolf, because Werewolf was the one cooking the crack. And like I told people, when Hitler went into, first they started cracking first, and keep in mind, the Black Hand is the ones they the real drug dealers. They the ones that control most of the major drug trades around the world. If you go watch if you go watch The Godfather of Harlem with I forget that dude's name, that playing the part of Bumpy Johnson. But Bumpy Johnson said the plug was the Corsicans. And the dude, look, it was a dude that was coming over here with a pale white front man, a Frenchman, right? And the whole time, the black dude was the real plug, and the French dude was the front guy. And man, let me tell you how they were playing it. If you go watch that series, the black dude sitting back acting like he don't know English or nothing. He acting like he just dumb. But he letting this pale European, French European, doing all the transactions. And then come to find out, Bumpy Johnson found out that he was the feds, or he was the DA, right? So Bumpy Johnson killed him. When Bumpy Johnson killed him, this black dude now come out and say, I'm the real plug, actually. And then he speak English. He speak English, but he acting the whole time like he don't even speak English. Until that's how they do. They'll come over here and play stupid and dumb, but they the whole time, and they get amongst us and play dumb amongst us, but the whole time they the ones that hiding under the white robe with the hood on.
To this day,
whole time.
To this day, Elder.
Yeah. And so there's just another point, and you can go check that out.
Okay.
Somebody said Vampire in Brooklyn. Vampire in Brooklyn actually break down the art, how they got kicked out of Ethiopia. They went to Transylvania. They went up into Europe. They got kicked off out of Europe by the righteous Moors because they were eating babies and still doing the same blood magic and rituals. They got a statue over there, a statue of them eating the baby. You can pull up a statue of eating the baby in Europe. They show you a statue. Raw Hayes had showed me their receipt, right? Yeah, so these guys got kicked out of Europe. They would eventually go and settle in the desert, in the Sahara Desert, and what they call Al Madrid and what they call Al Morocco today. And they would go underground and set up underground cities over there, which is I'm telling you, man, these people got gold toilets in their house. They got gold faucets. They got whole Kentucky derbies inside of their house. The Kentucky Derby, it's like a horse racetrack inside of their house. That's how much money these people got, right? And so, like I say, stemming up to what was he? Christopher Columbus, him coming over here, and then them eventually working their way to find out how our monetary system worked. And it would take them some time to figure out how our system worked. Once they got control of our system, we talking they started working their way and changing shit about around, like I say, 1913. This is when they set up the Federal Reserve Act, Woodrow Wilson. And you know about the secret meeting at Jekyll Island, which was really these guys. And they front mans. They had a meeting on Jekyll Island where they had said, we conquered most of all the land and we reclassified. And it took them hundreds of years to reclassify all of us, the indigenous people, into mulattoes,
Mm-hmm.
color. They were calling us Indian at first. They started calling the Moors Indians, right? Because you got to keep in mind, Amir is another way of Amir, like America is another way of saying Moor. Amir is a French word that means seafaring people, or people that man the dock on the boat.
Okay.
So Amir is another way, like Amaru. All these are other ways, because Amaru is a Spanish way of saying Moor, right? I already did a breakdown on that called the E and all on the word Moor, right?
Okay.
So like a lot of the like the word more is actually the MOOR actually is a new term, because they was the first people that come over here, the Spaniards, they were calling us Amaru, the Amaru people, right? The plumed serpent people, right? And then that would later translate after so many dialects into more, right? But like I said, 1913, boom, they did that secret meeting at Jekyll Island. Boom. They said that we reclassified and conquered everybody just about on this land. So at that point, they had to wait. I think it was 10 or some amount of years to where they can completely label our land as abandoned, because once they reclassified us out of indigenous, they can now say the land we ain't the original people, and then label us as African slaves, and then label our land as abandoned. Yeah, so yeah, they landed through the Shipwreck Act. They reclassified our land as abandoned, and then the play was in 1928 they were going to put the stamp on it, but Noble Drew Ali messed their plans up. That's why that's why they killed Noble Drew Ali in 1929, set him up and had him killed, because Noble Drew Ali put a hawk to their plans. Now, I want to say this because it's people out here that don't know what they're talking about, and they don't know that we had the land since 1929. And so in order to create this new, for these black hand nobilities to create this new type of system, which they'll say they learned from the Mongoloids, right? They now came out with the bright idea, because they had once you got the land, you got the people that's indigenous to that land, right? So, but in 1929 or 1928, when Noble Drew Ali claimed the land back and put it into the Express Trust, they lost the land. And then right after that, they stock market crashed, right? It wasn't that they crashed it on purpose. They crashed it because they had no more collateral. The land was their collateral from 1913 until 1928. The land was their collateral, right? So when they lost the land, that's when they kicked in the other mechanism, say, we don't really need the land. If we get the people, we got the land. So what they did is create birth certificates and social security cards, right? And then put us into an imaginary system. They put us into an imaginary system. And also right around that same time, they passed in the House Joint Resolution 192, which is changing our money over. This is all done by this black hand. This is all they call, all they plays that they running. They would change for our money over into a monopoly money system, a fiat money system, where it's not backed by current gold. Then they will also pass Executive Order 6102, where they made it illegal and they can arrest you for hoarding gold. And the only people that had the shitloads of gold over here was our tribes, our tribal banks, and the matriarchs on the land, and the chiefs had all the gold. So if you call herding gold, they can invade you, even if you and it's not. And these Slavics or these $5 Indians, they ain't have shit. They came over here with rags and tags. You know what I'm saying? And they put on our garments and play like they us through them being trained at the Indian boarding schools, right? So what happens is, like I said, they created the birth certificate and social security card. They turned us into the Og straw man if we only had a brain, right? Because the straw man, if you go watch Wizard of Oz, is really a breakdown on their ideology and their system that they set up. With the 10 man, which is the tax ID number, right? And he looking for with the 10 man looking for a heart, right? Because they trying to say we don't got heart to stand up and claim our nationality or claim our land, right? So if he only had it was a lion. The lion was looking for a heart, dealing with courage, right? They saying the lion was a coward. They say you in court. They say you a coward if you don't stand up for the Constitution. You a coward. and you deserve whatever happen to you in the courts. So that's dealing with the lion and the courage. The 10 man is the tax ID number, which is the social security number. And then you got the birth certificate. And what they do, put us in all caps and make us straw man. Now, that mechanism, because they got the indigenous people down with this, they was able to reconquer the land. They don't got the land, they got the people. They got the people agreeing to their fiat monetary system, which is the Federal Reserve note, right? Which is backed by nothing. It's pretty much an instrument of debt. And so once they got us all agreeing to that system and got us agreeing to U.S. citizen under the 14th Amendment, the 14th Amendment put us under U.S. federal jurisdiction. And then also the 13th Amendment says, hey, they can enslave us. And they actually took advantage of this shit when they first ratified it. They took advantage of this. They would catch a Moor, right, an indigenous brother, an indigenous Moor, walking down the street at a certain time of the night. And they say, oh, curfew. And they put him in jail for 10 years because he was outside at a certain time. And now he's sold into even this is after they so-called freed the slaves. But Lincoln never freed the slaves. He just transferred them to Congress. He transferred the slave stock to he transferred Christian stock. These, because keep in mind the Black Hand is setting up the Christianity. They the Romans, the Roman Catholic Church. So and under the doctrine of discovery and all that. So he transferred Christian stock over to Congress, right? Under the 14th Amendment. And under the 13th Amendment, they say now we can't enslave you, but it didn't end slavery. He said that slavery never ended, because what you think prison is? They working brothers for 50 cents a month. They working brothers for 5 cents a day. And look, guess how much money they making off of them? They making they send these private owned prisons contract through these corporations, and they will have these people making stop signs and all this stuff for the state, and they making $20 to $15 an hour, but the jail take that money and pocket it. So just imagine you making $1,000 a week, the jail pocket all that, and they pay you 50 cents, 10 cents a day, right? And then not to count, they getting 30,000 or more depending on what state for each prisoner. So they make it hand, and then they feeding them slop in there. They ain't paying no money. They ain't spending no money on no food. They giving them the worst of the worst. They getting high top brand. They getting high top brand and hybridized brands of everything they can find. And then they marking the shit up 600%. It's a 600% markup. That means if it costs $1 on the street, it's $6 in the prison. So this is a mechanism, man, that's gonna go out of business because it ain't right. So when they did that in 1933 and switched us all over into this system, they so-called wrote this up into federal jurisdiction under the 14th Amendment. This is how they're able to now still say they got the land. They don't got the land. They only got air addresses. They're trying to control the air over the land. And they control. They don't control the land. All their cities is franchise corporations under federal jurisdiction. They don't. It's not the city of this. That ain't what that land was called. These are businesses like McDonald's. Like the city of Dallas is like McDonald's. It's a business owned by and it's all tied into 12. They broke it down into 12 different jurisdictions. Right? You got 12 Federal Reserve banks. Then you got the 13th seat, which is really Big Mama seat, which is DC. That's why if you go look at DC, a lot of the layouts is a matriarch layout. It's dealing with feminine energy. The system or the layout that Benjamin Banneker, who was a Moor, by the way. Some people say he was a dirty Moor because we got his feds in the George Washington Memorial, right? Some people say he was dirty, and he could have been because he helped George Washington get on, and George Washington wasn't even from America. He helped George Washington and his goons get on, and George Washington wasn't the first president. It was like 14 to 9 presidents before George Washington. John Hanson being the one brother who inaugurated George Washington, who was a British general, right? Who worked his way up by doing BJs because he had sugar in his shoes, and he was a dark-skinned dude as well. He had sugar in his shoes. That's why he had no kids. George Washington had no kids, and his wife was a front. His wife was a front to make him look like he was legit to the rest of the people. Yeah, John Hanson was a president of the Confederates before George Washington. So yeah, so that's before they set up. They was working their way and infiltrating us then since 1776. When they set up the Illuminati, so-called, we the real Illuminati. That's why they use the Moorish seal for their symbol, right? The Moors, the word Moor, M-U-U-R, really means the enlightened one. It means one of light. That's what it means. We are the real inventors. We are the real civilizers, the Moors, right? We went around, man, if it wasn't for us, they'll be still shitting in pots and throwing it out the window. You ever heard some people, my mother used to tell me, you talking, you acting out and you don't got a pot to pee in and a window to throw it out of. And she don't even know where it come from, right?
Wow.
Like, you got a pot to pee in the window to throw it out because they in Europe before we came over there and they were getting, we should have just left them, waited till they all got wiped out. And then went over there and just burned all the bodies. But we being kind and generous, the kind and generous gods that we are, the Moors, we went over to Europe and created sewer systems. So they ain't got to pee in a pot. And yeah, I'm telling you, man, you can go look up right now, pull up Shakespeare's pot, Dookie pot, and they got that shit in the museum. That's how nasty these people are. Who the hell would keep a damn shit bowl for a museum piece? Oh, Shakespeare took a shit in there. Who would keep that? Besides some nasty sucker, man, nasty joker, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, they were peeing in pots and shitting in pots and then just tossing it onto the streets and with feces onto the streets and people walking and up and down. That's why I don't like people coming in our house with shoes on. We tell you, you gotta take your shoes off at the door because you walking on spit and all this out there, you know. But in Europe, they really was walking on shit, walking on feces. Right? Yeah. I'm telling you the truth, man. You can go look all this up. They were walking on feces, and this caused disease to spread rapidly. They try to call this the Dark Age, and they try to also associate the Dark Age is when the Moors took over, right? Because they couldn't take care of themselves. They come out of the caves. They were eating raw meat, and they still eat raw meat to this day. By the way, go out. Yeah, you see them. They want their steak. They don't want their steak well done, like the Moors like they steak well done, but these jokers want they steak half cooked, medium rare. I heard a joker say, one of them Europeans, I can't really call them Europeans because the Europeans would. I heard one of these Caucasians or these Tamahus say, "Just put mine 5 seconds on both sides, right? 5 seconds on this side, 5 seconds, and blood oozing all out of it, man. Because they the Canaanites, they can eat raw. Their system is not like ours. They can digest this raw meat." And they were crawling around on all fours in the caves when their counterparts came to get them out. They were sleeping with the dogs and sheep. The dog became their best friend. And they say, oh, dog is man's best friend. It became their best, all this time to the black hand, by the way. They said the dog was their best friend. Another word, you got K9, Canaan, K9 unit. The police got K9 unit. Right. And if you check that phonetically, it's K9, the dogs. And even in a book, it says a Canaanite woman approached Jesus, and Jesus said it's not meat to give the children's bread to dogs. He called a Canaanite a dog right there in the book, and they overlooked that. Jesus called the Canaanites a dog, and then she said, yeah, she agreed with him. She agreed with him, and she said, yes, that is true. But even the dogs receive crumbs from the master's table. Yeah. So we was throwing them bones. We would throw them every time they would get down. We would throw them a bone, and then they would come back to bite us right in the ass, like the dogs, vicious dogs that they are. Yeah, they're vicious dogs that they are, man. I'm telling you. So, leading up, I'm going all over the place, but leading up to. People that's up to speed, they know exactly. They know I'm telling nothing but facts. But we went over we left America, right? The Amarukans, the Moors. We went over to Europe and built sewer systems over there. We brought electricity to them. We brought personal hygiene because they don't know how to take a bath. Them suckers don't take a bath, but once every 2 weeks, like I told you. They wore wooden shoes, wooden teeth. They wore the queen had about 4 outfits. So how much the queen, or they so-called queen and kings, only had 4 or 5 outfits. So how many you think the poor or the peasants had? They had 1 or 2 outfits, if that. So they were, man, look, over there, they had their restrooms. They have a public restroom, and they had a stick with a rag wrapped around it, stuck in the bucket. And so they didn't use toilet paper like we had over here. The Moors had their own. We had toilet paper wipe our behind with. They over there using everybody that go in there and take a shit use the same stick with a rag on it to rub it in their behind and put it back in the water bucket. And ain't that some nasty shit? I'm telling you, man. You talking about nasty, man? Please, you don't get no nastier than it over there in Rome and all that, man. They wiping it, huh?
I said, you are cooking. Family, if you enjoying this, and I see y'all in the chat saying he's on fire, please send him a donation. I need everybody who's enjoying this, send the young elder a donation. You can send them a cash app at $ the young elder, TheYoungelder, or you can send him a PayPal. His PayPal, I got it up on the screen. I'll put it in the chat, paypal.me/theyoungelder23. Also, his Cash App is going at the bottom or at the top of the screen on the ticker. Send them, everybody send them $20 if you can. Send them whatever you can.
Appreciate you, man.
The man is really on fire. Go ahead, Elder. Thank
you.
I
appreciate you, everybody that's in the chat, man. Rob out to the family. So we went around, and like I said, you can look up most of all the inventions is done by us over here in America, by the Nubians people, the Moors in America. So we don't see no inventions coming from nowhere else, really. We created most of all the inventions, all the technology. That's what the Tartarian Empire was about. It was over here. That's why they created the World Fairs. So that's another part to it. Prior to them getting this Federal Reserve fiat monetary system set up, they went around. They had to get rid of all our technology that we already had. So you got 1893, the Chicago's World Fair. They went on a tour burning down our towns. If they couldn't burn it down, they bulldozed it right after and say that, oh, this was all made from plastic. Get the hell out of here. That type of architect, it took, man, please. They just lied because they are liars. Yaku taught them about how to lie, right? They are liars and killers and murderers from the jump, just like their ancestors. We told them that they put that in their own book, in their own doctrine, in John chapter 10, verse 44, where they I think it's 44, 32, where they say, you shall know the truth shall make you free. And then they said and then Yahshua was standing there talking to so-called people that's calling themselves Jewish, who were really Canaanites. And he said, no, you ain't the real people, because if you was the real people, you would love me. You are of your father, the devil, Yaku. You are of Yaku. Yeah, you a liar, a killer from the jump. That's what they doing, man. And so they went around doing all that. They went around wiping our whole towns with setting up dams and blowing dams, just like they did in Katrina, where they blew the dam levees and turned off the pumps on all the Moorish communities. Excuse me, on all the Moorish communities. They let all the Moorish communities be wiped out, and then they will come in and regenify and create all these high rises and skyscrapers and pretty much move the original people off the land, the Washita people off the land that's native to that land down there. So they've been so. What we didn't calculate is how ruthless these guys will go to any extreme measure to get their mission or what they are aiming to do done, whether it's killing people, eating people, drinking their blood to steal their land. And so so you knew about the World Fairs. We got a whole tape, me and Rod, and we got an AI breaking that down about the great cover up. And all your major cities like Chicago, St. Louis, Sacramento, Buffalo, New York. They blow that one up in 1901. They went up in Buffalo, New York at the World's Fair and blew that up. And the one in Boston, they go with the molasses. All of a sudden, the molasses truck leak and then everything catch on fire. It's the same situation they're having recently in I think it was Nigeria at the shopping plaza, where it was all of a sudden caught a fire. And then the fire truck that pulls up to put it out is full of diesel. You know what I'm saying? So they go to put it out, they spraying water, they spraying diesel on it to spread the fire. And you think that ain't no damn by design? Yeah. And then meanwhile, some people that already come in there to try to, these black hand guys had already sent their middlemans, who they using as the monkey lords and agents, into Nigeria to try to buy these guys off their land, but they wasn't selling because they said this is how we make our living. And then so when they went and sell, boom, next thing you know, it's a fire, just like it happened in the World Fairs. It's a fire, and then the guy that pull up, he's shooting diesel on the place and burn the whole. All of a sudden, their whole shit get burned to the ground. Now they got an idea saying that, oh yeah, we're going to create a smart city right here, a smart market. Why they want to create the smart cities and smart market? Because the ultimate goal, these guys are still running a plan. They still working a plan right now to try to get all of us chipped with a they call it RFID chip, so where they can now if they don't like you or you speaking like we speaking, they can just hit a button and cut your chip off. You can't buy or sell the mark of the beast, the barcode, right? The bar. What is the bar? The British accreditation registration. The bar, you know, the bar. That's what these lawyers under the bar, these judges, these administrative judges, they under the bar, the British accreditation registration. And so it's a bar code. They want to barcode us. All their products got barcodes on it. And it goes back to, they got to have, in order for you to buy or sell it in a commercial system. Why? Because they got to keep track so they can get their cut off the deal, man. They got to get their cut. And these same guys, I know I'm going all over the place, but these same guys is the ones that set up the drug market. The Black Venetians is the ones that own the British East Indian British company that was claimed to be moving tea, but they really moving dope. Yeah, guns, all and dope is their god. Yeah, guns, all and dope. They really were moving dope, and look, they learned it from. They got a lot of these mechanisms from the Germans and Hitler and his entourage, and so they took the dope out. They took the idea of when they went into Poland and cracked them out. Like I was saying before Hitler and them invaded Poland, which was populated by Bantu Africans, and I don't want to call them Africans. The Bantu really technically not Africans, right? Because, like I say, that the Romans is the ones that call the Afar people Africans, but the Bantu was already in that land prior to these Romans coming in calling the people Africans. And Hitler and them went and put from Ashtar Command, beam me up Scotty, right? Because Scotty is Sheeran, the leader of Ashtar Command. He's a scientist that came out with the formula for crack. And so crack is a formula. They called it freebase at first. And they cracked out Poland years before they invaded. Once they got most of Poland on crack, they then 2 weeks before they invaded, they cut the crack off. They told Werewolf, "Hey man, don't give them no more crack, starve them out." And so they were starving in there. They was begging for somebody to come in there and give them some dope. And then Hitler and them came in and invaded. And when Hitler just walked in and took over the town. And then you know when Hitler reached the capital, he said, "We here to take over your country." The people told him, "Man, we don't give a damn about the country." Well, Werewolf it. Yeah, what Werewolf it so he could cook us some more crack. What Werewolf it, man? We don't want to give a damn about your tanks, your bazooka, none of that, man. That ain't gonna do nothing for us. We want to hit some crack. Yeah, man. So we need Werewolf it so he can cook us up a 50, man. He can cook us up a 50 ball. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they just took right over. They cracked them out. And then so later, the Venetians learned from other people. So later they would take this mechanism and take it into, they wanted to conquer China. It was hard to get into China, but what they did is took over the opium trade and then had everybody and all the men, especially the males, doped up on heroin. So the British just went in and took over. They didn't even want to fight because they all high on heroin. Yeah, this is the Chinese wars and etc. when it's going down for them to take over China. They also use this same method against us. They hit us with heroin, right? During after the Vietnamese wars and all that. That's what they was doing. They came up with, and these guys that's moving it, like I say, go watch Bumpy Johnson. And the guy that was the plug was a dark-skinned dude from Al Madrid. And look, I'm gonna tell you how cold of Druids that these, because the Druids are these guys, the Druids. So they're the ones that control these black hand people. They own Hollywood. They created Hollywood through the CIA, right? And mind control operations. They found a guy that's an actor that's actually from Al Madrid. Not that they don't just say he from Al Madrid in the movie. They don't just say that he's actually from Al Madrid in real life. The actor. That's how cold these guys are doing. They casting their spells. Hollywood really means a magical wand. That's what they make. Hollywood is what they make wands out of. Yeah. Okay. And a director holds a wand. What is a wand to do? Cast spells. And what they call people when they bring in these people in, they call it a casting. A casting is all, man. I'm telling you, it's all right there. Yeah, they call it a casting. We're gonna put a casting together, and we're gonna cast a spell. And that's what Wag the Dog and all that's about. And it all ties back into these black hand guys who control all of this shit. But what they came in with the hair run, they came in with the prohibition, and we were creating our own liquor over here. They calling it moonshine, and it became known. We call it, as natives, we call it white lightning, right? White lightning. But they end up calling it.
My great grandmother sold moonshine. She came right from the Blackfoot tribe. She married a Colombian guy and they made moonshine, which then the government prohibited it and stole their children and their land and their wealth from them because they were selling moonshine, which was indigenous.
Right. And we called it, before they start calling it moonshine, they start calling it moonshine, we called it firewater or white lightning, right? Depending on what tribe you was from. And then also, the reason why they call it moonshine is because once they made it illegal, we had to start going at night when the moon was out and use the moon for light to cook it in the woods and brew it and ferment it in the woods in the cover of darkness. So that's how it got the name moonshine, right? Because we're doing it at night. But that's an indigenous trait, a indigenous practice that my daddy taught me how to do. In the Bible, they call it turning water into wine, right? Like it's a miracle, like it was some miracle. That wasn't no miracle. We've been doing that for thousands of years. We've been brewing beer and making liquor for thousands of years over here. But they try to make it, well, down when they come, all of a sudden it's a miracle. Why is it a miracle? Because they don't know shit about it. They thought that these people that they sent on us, they goons and goblins, thought the world was flat. They thought the world, you could drive for long enough and then go off the side of the earth. But the Moors already knew that wasn't true. We had already mapped the whole universe out. And we already navigated around all 24,000 and some change of the circumference of Earth. We already had went around Earth a whole bunch of times. This is a caveman, that the flat Earth is a caveman theory. Somebody that came out the caves and trying to tell us what we already knew for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But what else, man? We could take some questions. We got about, you know what I'm saying? We already been going a long time.
Almost 2 hours.
I can go so many places with it.
Hit the like button, family, and send your young elder a gift, a donation to his Cash App, $ the young elder, please. And if you don't have that Cash App, then you can send a PayPal and you can hit his name. There's the young elder 23. Questions, family? We were taking questions from the audience. Come on, it's your opportunity.
Yeah, and what we're dealing with, because you got people out here talking about the land. We already got the land. We need the people to unplug from what they did is they put us as U.S. citizens. That's how they able to make you pay taxes and all this. And they pledged us as collateral for the national debt. So they don't got no land. They got the people agreeing to their system. And so, but once you unplug from their U.S. citizenship, they cookie begin to crumble because they human trafficking us on what they call treasure bonds. And they was doing this, but now nobody want to buy them no more. Taiwan was buying all of them up at one point. Now Taiwan said, to hell with your T-bonds, because that money system you got is fraudulent due to your fractional reserve banking that pretty much crashed their whole system down. With fractional reserve banking, it's inevitable that their system go down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what we need is we need the people up to speed on what I'm telling you to end this shit. We are now, as far as getting people off the like some people think that when we do that, what we gonna do? Run people off the land? No, it's gonna be gradually. All these people are foreigners. They can't own shit over here, right? They can't own nothing. The federal jurisdiction don't own no land. They don't own nothing. They got people that they own your all caps that they created, that they put on your driver license. It's an all caps. They own that name. They own that. They bring that into the court, and that's how they're able to make contracts with you in this commercial system. They cannot do business with you because they are a corpse. They are a corporation, right? So they cannot do business with a living, breathing entity. They only can do business with a corpse. A dead man can only do business with a dead man in their system. So they put us as dead under the own sanctums. Look, on the own sanctums and the Sesquique Trust, after 7 years, after your mama, after you born in the hospital, they create this birth certificate. They take your footprint down, right? And then they put you into as a ward of the state. At the age of 7, they put you lost at sea and labeled as dead, black. That's what dead black really means, dead in law. And they put you lost at sea, pretty much. You don't got no home. Blacks don't got no land nowhere. Tell me where black got land at. Ain't nobody got no land under the term blacks, Negroes, and colored. You don't got no land nowhere. That's what that was all about. And so once we claim our rights, indigenous back, claim our nationality. Some people don't like the term nationality, birthrights. Then once we claim our birthrights back, because we ain't finna play no games. Because people ego tripping and thinking they know what's going on, they don't. We ain't finna play no games. Birthrights, right? So when we claim our birthrights, we unplug from the U.S. And once, not just individuals, it's people that already did this. We got to do it as a tribe, as a whole. Then we got to reorganize our government because they broke down our government with the Curtis Act, with the Reorganization Act, with the New Deal, right? Top Cat broke all that down. They did all this shit and they put us into this system, and they never stop coming after us. To this very day, they still after us. They poisoning our fruits, they poisoning our food, they poisoning the products that all the major companies are owned by the black hand. Johnson and Johnson, come to find out, people with some of their lotion got cancer agents in. So it's like these are the black hand. It's on, and then they're gonna have another call say Black Rock. Black Rock. We know who they are. Yeah, they call it Black Rock. Black Rock is now trying to buy usurp, since they know the federal jurisdiction is going out. They on another game. Their new game is the federal jurisdiction going out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come buy property, buy for all the farmland, and rent it out to the indigenous people. That shit gonna really work, and then it's a wrap. It's a wrap on these guys, man, because we outnumber them 100 to 1,000 to 1, maybe 1,000,000 to 1, because there's only a few of them, like 13 families, like 9 guys that sit in this room and they dictate everything they go on the world. 9 guys, or the Council of 10. The Venetians set up the Council of 10, and they the ones that set up COINTELPRO, CIA, NSA, and all this is to protect their game, protect their criminal organization, like they're criminals. Crooks in action. That's what CIA really means. Wow. Crooks in action.
So you said their time is
action,
up. Their time is up.
That's a wrap because.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is that why people are fleeing the country?
Yeah, people. It's foreigners right now that's disowning your U.S. citizenship. That's why they going down. They can't they need humans for collateral to the dick. Yes. They need humans for collateral to sell them and human traffic them on these T-bonds so they can keep getting loans from other countries. But the other countries said, nah, we don't want to deal with you no more. It's like this. My grandma said ain't no such thing as a fair fight. If somebody bigger than you, pick up a brick, bust them upside the head. That'll make him leave you alone. And you know what? It's some countries that got together right now and they didn't picked up the brick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the brick. They go. Yeah, they picked up the brick. And because America's been bullying I can't say America, U.S. courts, because they ain't America. They only 10 by 10 square miles. That we took that back when we staked our totem pole on the land. Yeah, so they went around bullying everybody, taking people's shit for the world, for these black Venetians, because the military, the military arm was the Mongoloids, but the Mongoloids got their ass up out of there. The Mongoloids cut them off. And then they created a new military arm, the Washington D.C., which is a conglomerate of this mystery system that they set up called Mystery Babylon, which is connected with the Vatican, which is the religious arm of it, and then London, which is the financial arm of it. And they set it up in the 1 square mile. It's a 1 square mile banking district in London. This square is controlled by the Knights of Templar. And if you're familiar with chess, right, in chess, who controls center square control the board. Every chess master know that. He who controls Center Square. So the Center Square, they set up Center Square in London, and they controlling Center Square through the monetary, international monetary funds. And so what they doing? If you go study, I put out some tapes called 9 African Leaders Whacked, 5 Haitian Presidents Whacked, 4 U.S. Presidents Whacked, because all of them was messing with these guys, these black hand guys' money. Just like now they got Abraham Trace is over in Africa in Burkina Faso. He cracking heads, but then he can go get in bed with the Jews. It's crazy. Like, I don't understand him. But before him, it was Thomas Sankara. His own people. They got his own homeboy to have him keep whacked, so he can put the country back in the hands of the French. Wow. Yeah. Le Priest Lumumba. The list goes on of the people they whack from trying to get these black hand people out of their country. Even down in Nicaragua and South America, in these places, the Panama Canal. If you go study that tape I put out, Chavez. Now look at this. They signed the economic hitman in on Chavez and got him up out of there. But then Chavez people, Chavez had his people behind him. His whole country came out and said, hell no, nigga, we won't chop, because the guy they put in, soon as he got in the first day, he suspended the Constitution. So they automatically knew he was a fraud. So these got the whole country raised them niggas, got him up out of there, and brought Chavez back. And look, they wanted to kill Chavez so bad. Yeah, Chavez made it till he died, man. He was a president till he died, to 2013. They couldn't even get to him. Why? Because there's people behind him. See, that's how we gonna win. We gotta all get together, and if we outnumber them, 1,000, 1,000,000, 10,000 to 1. It ain't but a few of them, a handful. You can count on both hands how many of them people are running the whole world, and we outnumber them. But they use money, and they use gifts, they use manipulation, they use a whole list of demonic energy to try to get our people to be sellouts. And they already infiltrated all the Masonic lodges. They don't give a damn about you, Prince Hals, because they already played you by telling you that Prince Hals got his teachings from some Tamahoos up in Boston. How can indigenous Nubian brother, and when we started Masonry, thousands of years before they was even around, how can we get some shit from them? That don't even make any sense. We the inventors of Masonry. How some Tamahoos gonna teach an imaginary dude named, because Prince Hall is really Benjamin Banneker. You know what I'm saying? It's Benjamin Banneker. That's why. Okay, so if we were slaves and all this, how the hell is Benjamin Banneker laying out the whole Washington D.C. in a Masonic layout? If it wasn't no Masons to Prince Hall, come on, man. We got to stop believing what these Tamahoos talk about. They don't like us. They hate us because of they hate us. We can't believe nothing they say no more about us, right? We don't need no other race telling us about us. If you ain't no Moor, you can't tell me shit about the Moors. No. If you ain't no Moor, you can't tell me shit about no Moors, because you automatic against us in a way. That's what I'm saying. Like, so if we ain't got time to play no games with nobody in this day and time.
Well, how do we get our straw man back? Is what Ross want to know.
Well, you got to claim your live birth. It's a long process. I got the process broke down on my page. You got to go and claim the birth certificate so they can take you off the water state. You got to reclaim your social security number. That's the two mechanisms really that they're using to put us as the straw man. And then you got to claim yourself as a living, breathing being and not no artificial straw man. So it's a process you got to go through. You can go to once you get that birth certificate, you got to go to file it with the Secretary of State and file it with the Secretary of the Federal, the Secretary of Washington D.C. and file it with your city clerks. So that if you come in contact with their agents, with like the police and etc., who are not real, the police are occupying army, and the real police is the sheriff. Right, the sheriff, right? So it's a process, but the main thing is you gotta. It's a public thing. You gotta let the record show, let the public know that you are not part of the fraud anymore. You are not part of the game. And like I say, It goes with claiming your birth certificate and getting your live birth, and reclaiming and taking control of the social security number, which represents your straw man. And once you do that, it's a lot of people that's scared. They're scared to go off. I say before you do all that, make sure you know all about it, and make sure you got your financial shit straight. Because once you unplug from their system, a lot of times they say you can't buy or sell. So we have, you don't gotta have a license, right? But they say you gotta have a license. You don't gotta have no license you have the right to travel. But if you're a U.S. citizen, under you still a ward of the state, you gotta have a license. You can't beat them in court because they say you a ward. We tell you what you do, and you gotta have a power of attorney, which they calling lawyers, because you incompetent. Because you still a ward of the state. You haven't claimed your birth certificate or your social security card back. So you still a ward of the state. That means you incompetent to your own estate. This is our estate. We already got the estate. They are trustees, y'all. You are the beneficiary. You are the grantor. Your ancestors were the grantor. Because we wanted to stop a war with these killer clowns and these Knights of Templar, who actually some of them helped us, and they got banned by the Pope. The Pope sent goons after them. Goons after some of the Knights of Templar to kill them, because the Knights of Templar, like Hernan Cortez, who one of these Spaniards that came over here, once they found out how much gold we had, because when Cortez came over here, we loaded his ass down with gold. But that's what I was gonna say. They tell us all the natural wealth in Africa. I think I was talking about this earlier, but I never did finish what I was saying. They tell us all the natural wealth is in Africa, but then the richest guy that ever lived right now to this day is Mansa Musa, and he was an African. He came over to America and got to go, right? He came over to America. Yeah, he came over to America. Him and his brother. Look, Abu Bakr came over here first. Abu Bakr II. He sailed over here. Actually, before Abu Bakr came, Abu Bakr sent 3,000 men on ships over to America to find the land, right? When they end up. Some of the guys, they end up a lot of the ships end up getting destroyed because they sail to an area called the Bermuda Triangle, where it's a vortex there, like like when you let water out of a tub and it make that swirl. Yes. Like a swirl, like the water going down, right? So it's a swirl right there in the Bermuda Triangle that sucks ships down in there, and some of the ships don't make it, and some of the people do make it, but they get sucked to it's like a vortex going to the center of the earth. It's an ocean. It's an ocean called the Argon Ocean in the center of the earth, and it's a vortex in the center of the earth, and it's a vortex in what they call in the Devil's Triangle. So Mansa Musa, man, that he sent, a lot of them went down into that, got sucked down into the Bermuda Triangle and sucked down to the center of the earth. But only one ship was able to escape that swirl, and that one ship went back to Africa and told Abu Bakr, "Hey, man. We almost made it over there, but we ran into this vortex." And Mansa Musa, Abu Bakr didn't believe him. Abu Bakr didn't believe his captain. So what he said is, "Fuck that! I'm gonna go myself. I'm gonna build all of these ships." He got 3,000 ships and full with mandingos. The mandingos from West Africa. I think that they from America though, because they found artifacts, these armacks, certain statues of the mandingas in the South America, right? But they were mandingas, the Kentes, and they made a movie called Roots, telling you they kidnapped the Kente prince and brought him over here as a slave. That's a bunch of crap. Kentes came over here by themselves. Abu Bakr, them in the 1310s, early 1300s. Abu Bakr came over here first. He got some gold. Abu Bakr got some gold. Matter of fact, Mansa Musa got his gold from his brother. His brother Abu Bakr is the one that when he came over here, Inky, go back to Inky Quetzalcoatl. Inky had told Inky was stealing gold during when the Anarchists here. Inky turned against Enlil and them and started stealing gold and bringing it to America and giving it to our ancestors, the Armax that was in Central America. And that's what the story they give us, right? And then Inky told them he would return. They called Inky Quetzalcoatl before they called Tahuti, his son Quetzalcoatl, right? And Inky told him that he would return in a certain amount of cycles, but he didn't return. Why? Because he got banned to Nubaru. He got sentenced to Nubaru when he got caught stealing the gold. And so what happens is Hernan Cortez comes over and they mistake him. No, it was Abu Bakr before Hernan Cortez. It was Abu Bakr that came over, and because Abu Bakr was like by Inky height, he had a thick beard, and Inky them wore white robes with the turban, right? So when Abu Bakr came over, he was dressed like Inky with the turban, all white, and he was dark, like dark skin, like Inky. So, and he about the same height as Inky. So they said, because Inky wasn't 7 foot like the rest of the Anunnaki, like Enlil. Enlil was like almost 8 foot tall. But Inky was part Dragonian and half Anunnaki. So he was a little shorter than all the other Anunnaki. He was like about 6'5". Abu Bakr about 6'5", right? So they mistake him for Abu Bakr for Inky, and they started turning over the gold to him. They loaded his ships down, all 3,000 of them, to where they're about to sink. He had so much damn gold. Abu Bakr said, "Damn, I ain't gonna make it back to Africa with all this gold." You know what he did? He came to the Gulf. He sailed to the Gulf and sailed up the Mississippi River, and he met with the Lakota people. The Lakota people gave him wives from their tribe. Abu Bakr married wives from the Lakota people, and they gave him land called the Black Hills, which they say was sacred land. And Abu Bakr took a lot of that gold and hid it in what they call in Mount Rushmore today. Mount Rushmore. Go watch the movie National Treasure Hunt. They break some of it down in there. But Abu Bakr hid that gold, hid a lot of his gold to keep his ships from sinking inside of the cave. And he came back and he was getting more and more and he was hiding it inside of that mountain, the mountain, which they later on, that's why they put their faces on there. They're talking about the founding fathers. That's a bunch of crap. They ain't no founding fathers of what? The U.S. courts? They ain't the founding fathers of America. They full of shit, right? And only sucker we'll let pass on that who face on there. We'll let him make it. Is old man Abe. Old man Abe. We'll let him make it because his mother was one of us from the Nappy people. So old man Lincoln was really a Moor, pretty much. He was a Moor, and that's one of the reasons that they put a bullet on him. Besides the setting up the greenback and overthrowing them and bankrupting them and overthrowing their money system.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The money system is failing. The United States Incorporated is insolvent. Nobody would buy the treasury bond. So essentially their whole kingdom is collapsing. Does that automatically liberate us, or we still got to do the paperwork?
No, yeah. That's another good point you make it. Now, so they going down by default, with or without us. With or without us. Yeah. Now we was to start pulling the plugs and taking back our Social Security card and birth certificate. That'll make them go down faster. That'll speed the process up. Right? That'll speed the process up. But at this point, like I say, and Duke talk about that too, about the paperwork made from trees and all this paper from trees. So shout out Duke, man. Shout out Rod. Rod talk about it too. So it's like it depends on you though, really. You can sit around and still be in the system and still get taxed and all that. Or you can pull yourself out of the system and go and help them go down faster. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that.
You got this posted somewhere, or you got?
Yeah, I got a playlist called the Native American Chief School, and in that school, it's about 500 tapes. It's gonna take you a while, but I got pretty much.
You should charge for it.
I ain't gonna look. All that. Look, I got stuff. Like I just like me. It's like me. I can like create something every day, like because I'm a creator, right? I can create something every day. So,
what's the name of it? Tell me the name of it again. The Native American.
The Native American Chief School. The playlist. Chief School playlist, and I got the Moral Science playlist. But like, so in them playlists, in the Native American Chief School, it break everything down. It tell you how to claim your I got a tape called "How to Claim Your Nationality" in that playlist, so you can watch that, and then it breaks down the process of. We used to have to do it as Moors. We used to have to do it as make a public. We used to put it in newspapers, and you know what I'm saying, announcing that we're not part of the fraud no more. So it breaks that down. If you want to go that route, we got all that in that playlist. It tell you how to claim your nationality. I got one with my master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York. He breaking down the indigenous rights and how we have a right to nationality. That's a part of the indigenous rights. We have a right to nationality, right? Okay. Yeah, Native American Chief Play School. Yeah.
I see the
It's in the
playlist. You got
playlist.
several right here.
Yeah, I got. Hey, we pretty much got
Oh,
everything covered, man. We got
good
everything
Lord.
covered. Like we got over 2,900 tapes, so
Oh,
we
this
got every like
awesome.
we ain't stopping, man. We non-stop action, trying to kind of get the babies, trying to make sure the babies know up to speed.
Subscribe
We
to the Young
non-stop action.
Elder family. Subscribe to the Young Elders YouTube channel, and you'll get all his updates. You see here the videos, the shorts,
Mm-hmm.
lives, podcasts, and here what he's talking about the school and all the playlists of how to liberate yourself. They're right here under
Mm-hmm.
playlist. You can also hit the join button, and you join. You have exclusive access to exclusive content. So please hit his like button, subscribe to his channel, family, and I'll put his link in the comment section for you, and also in
Yeah,
the description.
Oh yeah, shout out the master teacher Taj Sharik Bey, right? Because a lot of this stuff I learned from him. Because my master teacher, Dr. Malachi York, told us to go study Taj Sharik Bey. He's one of our esteemed scholars in the moral science. And like I say, Duke pretty tough too. It's other brothers like Dr. I have to give his name in a minute, but it's a couple of brothers like Hakeem Bey. It's a couple of brothers that was I don't know what happened to Hakeem Bey. We ain't seen him in a while. Yeah, but
the Duke. Are you talking about I See a Duke of Tears?
yeah, the Duke. I see a
Okay,
Duke of Tears. He's pretty tough.
he's pretty tough.
I don't. He don't really teach like a lot of. Yeah, the Duke. Yeah, the Duke right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Duke is one of our scholars in the moral science. He's good on breaking down a lot of the storylines of what they. He keep you up to date too. Also on the recent moves that they making to try to keep this game going. So yeah. Shout out to Duke, man. And Rod, me and Rod got over 500 and some tapes breaking a lot of shit down. So, yeah, and then they try to keep all of us against each other. They try to make us fight against each other, but I ain't with it. I ain't with that arguing with each other. No, we agree on a lot. A lot of us agree on more than we disagree on. So let's sit down on what we agree on. Yeah, that's what sit down on what we agree on. Like everybody don't agree with the matriarchs, right? But we agree with something else. We agree that hey, we Moors. We agree, hey, these suckers out the same. We agree on who the enemy is. So let's turn our energy towards the enemy. Now, we ain't the enemy. We on the same team. Let's turn our energy towards these black hand Venetians who really puppet the game from the background, and their guard dogs who they call them the Rockefellers. Those who rocked your fella, and the Rothschilds, those who were Roth as a child. You know what I'm saying? We turn our energy on the bankers, the world elite bankers, who everybody's because other countries is fighting against these people. They in everybody's pocket, trying to put them in debt through their economic hitmans, where they come in and the world, the IMF, right, the International Monetary Fund, want to give you a loan. They know you can't pay back, so then they can because when you get in bed with the mob, that's who they are. They the real mafia. These black hand guys are the mafia. They are the crime syndicates. They are the drug pushers. The mafia, if you go watch Bumpy Johnson, the mafia was one selling Bumpy the dope. The doogie. It's what they call it, doogie. The brown girl. You got the brown girl, the white girl. They was the ones selling them doogie. The mafia. And they know what they said? We only gonna pump it in the Moorish communities. We're gonna pump this in the Moorish communities. It wasn't a problem until it started bleeding over to they damn community.
That's when it became a drug crisis.
Yeah.
And another thing, adverse possession is actually legal, but they be squatting on our land, stealing our land. But as soon as we woke up and started squatting and taking our stuff back,
we're criminals.
Taking our palaces, they try to lock us up. But it's in their law that you can squat. If somebody's not taking care of their land or they just abandon it, you can literally go and possess it. It's called adverse possession. But as soon as a sister or people do it, they lock us up.
Yeah, so you're right. They try to make us as criminals. Anything we do, it's a white collar crime if they do it. White collar. You know what I'm saying? It's a blue collar crime. Yeah, they do it. But we do it. Oh, they some crazy Negroes. You know what I'm saying? They even created people don't know about the Black Christian codes. Go study the Black Christian codes on what they set up by these same guys who set up these black hand guys. They the ones that set up the Black Christian codes. And it says that one of the rules is if 3 of us together, then we suspect to commit a crime. If 3 of us together, they call it unlawful gathering. And they come up, that's why the cop, when they see 3 of us standing in front of the store chilling, they roll up on us and frisk us and molest us pretty much. And pretty much kidnap us because it ain't arrest. They listen up, Moors. When they come to try to get you, they not shout out Chief Mac too, man. The big homie Chief Mac, man. Look, when they come to get you, it's not an arrest. That's kidnapping. And you know what they do? When they come to arrest you, they kidnapping you. And when they come to when they take you into their prison, they hold you for ransom, not bail. It's ransom. Because they're gonna make what do people do when they kidnap you, right? When people kidnap you, they say call your people and tell them we want 20,000 or we want this amount of money, right? Dude. When the police, when the police they kidnap you, it's not arrest. He resisted to being kidnapped. Of course, I'm gonna resist to being kidnapped. What the hell you wrong with you? And then they kidnap you and they hold you in a prison. They say you can have a phone call. Their phone calls to call your family and tell them they kidnapped me and they want $20,000 for ransom. They want 12% or whatever the charge is. A charge is just like charging your car. No, it's about money. So you call your family members and say, yo, they holding me down here, kidnap me, and they want $20,000 for ransom for something that's a commercial crime. It's not no constitutional crime. It's a commercial crime. All crimes are commercial in this system that they set up. All crimes are commercial. Yeah. So they put you for hold you, kidnap you, and tell you to call your family for ransom. And they want you to pay that ransom before they let you go. And you think that's what they system are, because they are illegal. They don't even supposed to. The police are illegal. They aren't supposed to be on over here. They came over from London, and they started out as slave catchers. And we wasn't no slaves, by the way. Slaves don't apply to Africans or the original Moors from America. It only applies to Slavics from Russia. Russians, that's who came over here in the 1900s. And they destiny swapped us. They came over here. You ever heard of from rags to riches? Yes. That's talking about them. They came over here in rags. And then they came over here and put on our indigenous garments. That don't even half of them couldn't even fit it, by the way, because a lot of our chiefs, like Big Chief Tuscaloosa, was 7 foot tall. A lot of the Moors down in Florida the chiefs was 7 foot tall with a mouthful of golds. Wow. Yeah, the mouthful of golds, that's part of our indigenous tribes down south in New Orleans. You see everybody with golds. We've been doing that for thousands of years. They dig up mummies in South America that had diamonds and golds in the mouth. A mummy. For a 1,000-year-old mummy had diamonds on his teeth. Wow. Yeah, man. Who are they playing with? We know now. We don't give a damn what you Tamahoos say now. You can't come up. It was some Tamahoos coming on. They mad and they racist as hell, and they coming on trying to tell us who we are. You can't tell us shit about us, but we can tell you about you though. You the dog. You the K9. You the pet. You the dog that received the crumbs from the master table. But we ain't giving your ass no crumbs no more. Because every time we give you crumbs, that's how you make it. You remember when they came over here, they wouldn't have made it past Thanksgiving if it wasn't for us. That's what they call it, Thanksgiving. They wouldn't have made it past that. They wouldn't have made it past winter. See, we knew how to grow food in sand. They didn't know that. You know how we was growing food in sand? We would use fish guts. We would take the fish guts when we catch the fish, pull his guts out, put it in the ground with the plant in sand, and it would grow in sand. They couldn't right now. Abraham Triz from Burkina Faso, he growing apples in the desert using the same method. Yeah, man. They not like us. They not like us, man. They look like us, but they not us. And like I say, these Slavics and the other people they brought, these Chinese railroad workers and Filipino railroad workers, they sent them to boarding school or indigenous or Indian school. They sent us to Indian school to re-indoctrinate us into the Spanish Inquisition. They sent them to school to try to replace us. They taught them how to do our loosely because they can't dance. They can't dance and we can't. I mean, they can't dance and we can. So they They shot them by doing the bus stop and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They had to teach them how to dance like that. And they still ain't got no rhythm like us. All them dances they doing, all them outfits they wearing, that's our shit. And so they needed, but they couldn't just they couldn't just reclassify us and leave us like that. They had to have what they call it's called cellular colonialism, where they got to replace the indigenous people with foreigners. And so that way, when you do wake up to realize, hey, this is my land, they say, oh no, it's not. These guys, man, please. If them guys are the guys, why you got to have a Smithsonian Institute to cover up all the artifacts of giants? And keep in mind, a 7-foot guy is a giant. When you see a 7-foot guy in real life, he a giant compared to the Twi 4.5 foot tall. So which is the old Mississippians. When the old Mississippians see a 7-foot guy, he tall compared to a Twi. He a giant. Shaquille O'Neal is a goddamn giant. Yeah, 7 foot and 2 inches. Man, he got to duck down to walk in your house. This dude wear a 26-inch shoe. That's what size the rims you got on your car? Yo. Some people got 26-inch rims on their car. Well, Shaquille O'Neal walking around with a 26-inch shoe. You think them ain't no damn giants? You know what? They kidnap all the giants and make them sign deals with the 3-letter corporations like the NBA, right? These are all owned by these guys, by the black hand nobility. They own these 3-letter corporations: the CIA, FBI, NBA, the NFL. They own all this. And what they do is they get our guards and chiefs and pay them large amounts of money to don't even be concerned about the tribe, go and be in this arena, which is really much the gladiators. Because football is barbaric the way they playing it. We didn't play football like that. Even though football started over here by the Armacs. The Armacs, that's what the Armac helmet is about. Go get an old Armac helmet and put it next to an old football helmet, and you see what the hell you looking at. So they kidnap, or they come in and buy up all our giants and our chiefs who were 7 foot tall, and they give them large amounts of money to put them in these arenas so they can make money off of them. It's the same thing as King Kong. You know the story of King Kong, right? King Kong was a giant gorilla, essentially from Congo, which is implying Central Africa. Okay. The Tamahus come into the land, and when the indigenous people see the Tamahu woman, they say, "Oh, we're gonna give her the king. We're gonna give her the King Kong." So they tie the white woman up and give her the King Kong. King Kong grabbed the white woman, and can't really call him white because you know about that, right? The pale woman, and then grab her and goes into the woods with her. This starts the Tamahus to going out through the jungle looking for King Kong to get the white woman back, right? Okay. What they do when they find King Kong? They drugged them. They drugged King Kong. They drugged him up and then tied him up and put him on a ship, and then brought him back to America to put him on stage so they can make some money off of him. That's what it's about. So so we King Kong, but we King Kong from America. They came over here, they drugged us, they tied us up, and then start putting us on stage so they can make some money off. That's what the NBA is. They get King Kongs like Shaquille O'Neal, and they put him on stage so they can make some money out of him, man. That's what this about. It's a bunch of game. Yeah, straight up game.
The people in the chat are really enjoying this. Somebody said it's like the circus.
Yeah. And the circus is set up by the front mans. They call them, they killer clowns, because the FBI was set up by 13 Shriners. 13 Shriners, the Shriner organization who actually got hospitals all over, and they got a statue out front of the hospital where they holding the child. And it goes all the way back. Yeah, they holding the child because they looking for the Black Messiah. They talking about Black Messiah or the Moorish Messiah. That's why they always coming infiltrating all the Moorish organizations like Noble Jew Ali, Jeff Ford, them, the El Rookins. They infiltrate all these organizations, but they looking for a child. Meanwhile, they rocking our crowns like they know about the mounds, but they really a whole bunch of clowns in real life. They dress up like clowns at the parades and ride in little clown cars. They gatekeepers. They go out the national. They say national security. What is national security? National security is making sure the Moors don't realize who the hell they are and that they from this land. It's part of the George Washington challenge, where he said he's gonna trick the Moors into thinking they from Africa and everywhere else but America. George Washington, the first president of the U.S. courts, he didn't say he's gonna trick the Moors into something. He said he's gonna trick the Moors into thinking that they wasn't from America. And then you got fools going out right now to think that the Moors from Africa. No, we're not. No, we're not. Or the Moors from the Iberian Peninsula. Man, that's what that's what these guys who conquered you told you. And you're gonna listen to your people that conquered you? Get the hell out of here. We know now. We know now. Ain't nobody can, man. They mad because we know. I'm telling you, they mad. They burning inside like the vampires they are.
Now that we know, what's going to happen to these hidden hand folks?
They can go out because it's the thing like this right here. Like, okay, well, when all the minds, that's what we're working on. Getting all the minds to agree as one. That, hey, we tired of these guys. These guys got to go. You know, they did an experiment. They had about 500 people in an auditorium, and they called this guy on stage. They called this dude on stage. They told him to hold his arms out, like straight out. And he said, the dude that was doing the presentation, he said, try to stop me from pushing down your hands, right? So he tried to push down the dude's hands. He couldn't push him down. Then he said, I want everybody in the crowd to focus your attention on this dude right here. And I want you to think in your mind that he weak. That he weak and he can't stop me from pushing down his hands. And then he told the dude to hold out your hands now, while everybody in the crowd, the 500 people, was focusing their attention on one thing. And then the dude couldn't even stop him from pushing down his own. He could push it down with one finger. He could push his hand down with one finger. Why? Because everybody in the crowd focused their attention on one thing. That's what they know, the power of unity. The power of unity. When we all think with the same minds and we think, hey, we tired of this Federal Reserve. We tired of this fake fiat monetary system. We tired of them lying to us. We tired of your schools, because they ain't teaching us nothing about how to be workers and not thinkers. That's what it was set up for. The Rockefellers said we want workers, not no thinkers. We want slaves, right? So we tired of their school system. We ain't learning nothing besides the history is all lies that they taught us in the history class. All lies. Only thing they got good is the math and the science, and that shit is like 2,000 years behind. We was already ahead of what they teaching us with the Tartarian Empire. So it's like, yeah, we already ahead of it. So we don't want. Once all of us think the same thing, that's why they got to keep us all over here. Oh, you a Muslim. Oh, you a Christian. Oh, you a Jew. You a Hebrew. This and that. Keep us all divided and not thinking about the same damn thing. You got niggas out there with a loud horn. Oh, you're reading out the Bible. The shit that they use to colonize us. They out there promoting it and attacking people on the corner like some heathens. And they think that man, it's a retarded, man. It's retarded. And meanwhile, they study coming up with more mechanisms to keep us asleep. Yeah, right. that type of game, man. So yeah, man, we need to get them back all their religion because we only had one thing over here, and that was El Islam civics, and they don't got nothing to do with religion. That's how government formed. That's how the matriarch is ran. That's how the whole family structure. That's what it's about. That's why Islam civics keep planets from bumping into each other. It's math. What's the mathematics? The 5%ers knew that. It's what's the mathematics. That's what we was on. We wasn't on no religion. We was doing mathematics and science over here. Religion made us turn away from mathematics and science and say we're gonna wait on some white guy to come out the damn cloud on a horse, which is a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap to keep us. Yeah, religions. No, legions means a group of demons. 15,000 demons. So when you say religion, you realigning yourself with a group of demons.
Dang.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap, man. Yeah, so man, I'm about to give I'm about to get off in a minute. Like I went with a long time.
You on fire, young elder family. I know y'all enjoyed it. I did. I really enjoyed this. Please send him a gift, a donation, an offering to $ the young elder via Cash App. And we got to bring you back on to do a part 2, because the people want to be liberated. Like you said, we're awake now. We ready to do whatever we have to do to break these chains. So thank you so much. Where can they find your work, young elder, if they want to follow you?
Yes, like I say, you could go to my page, my YouTube page, and we got Instagram, all the stuff is in the links. And like I
Okay.
say, it like I want to send a shout out to my master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, who's right
Okay.
now being here. They had kidnapped him in 2002, and he been in prison ever since under false allegations set up by the COINTELPRO operations. And so, yeah, Doc is a reason. When the shit that you hear me talking, it's some of it's because of Dr. Malachi Z. York.
How did you learn? How did you study under him? And he has books or what? I know you. I think you
Yeah,
mentioned
like
something.
yeah, Doc got over thousands of books. I mean, he got lectures, like over thousands of lectures and tapes. We got a lot of the tapes loaded up to our YouTube channel. And yeah, man, Doc really did it for me, man. Doc, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah.
Like I say, the more science, I learned a lot of that from Taj Tariq Bey.
Okay.
And the Duke. Yeah, and Rod Hayes was instrumental in me in my travels. I got another teacher that they don't talk about. His name Mark Brady, Tomb Ray. He was instrumental in me getting to this level too. So yeah, all those people, man, all those people we want to just send love to and divine love out to everybody.
I'm going to put all your links in the description section, and I'm bringing them up, family, for you all. I just showed the Young Elder's YouTube channel. Here is his Instagram right here, the Young Elder 023. And then he has a Facebook page that I showed you a little early. I put all of this in the chat, in the description section for you, as well as his Cash App. Please send the Young Elder a nice blessing. This man went in today, didn't he? You were on fire. I didn't even want to interject. Send him a Cash App blessing to the $, the Young Elder. Any final words?
Yeah, like for the producer asking, I don't sell Malachi books. I got 8 books that I wrote that I let. If you cash out me $45, I'll send you all 8 books in PDF form to your and leave your emails in the links. I'll send you all 8 books in the PDF form. If you want to get Doc books, you gonna have to go to if you're in the Atlanta area, you could go to All Eyes on Egypt Cultural Center. We got a couple of them. We got one I think in North Carolina, New York. Just Google it and type in All Eyes on Me Culture Center, and you might have one in your city, and you could go there, and they should have most of Doc books in those stores. And some of the books is online on Scribe. You can read the Holy Tablets for free, which is one of the biggest books that he wrote. You can go to my page, click on one of my videos, and look in the descriptions, and then scroll all the way down. You'll see the Holy Tablets link, and you just click on it. You can read that for free online. So I don't sell none of Doc books. You had to get with one of my Sabine brothers, Nuwapian brothers. They might have a couple copies. Like the ones I got, I only got like 1 copy, so I ain't selling none of my books, right? I got the Let's Set the Record Straight book. That's a book you got to get by Doc. The Holy Tablets, the Black Book. He got so many books, right? But the Holy Tablets and the Let's Set the Record Straight book, if you just get them 2, you'll be crushing the game. You'll be cracking heads and twisted caps just with those 2 books. Yeah, so that's what it is.
Thank you
but
so
peace
much
and love throughout for the whole time, man. I appreciate you, Dr. Kia, for inviting me on.
You're more than welcome. I want to let everybody know that you did publish something about the Black nobility earlier today. So please, family, go to his channel. He has a lot of audiobooks that he puts out almost daily. So go to his channel. Here it is. It's called The 13 Black Nobility Family Secrets of La Cosa Nostra. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, look, the Cosa Nostra. That's this thing of ours. That's the mob, the mafia. They are the original. The Black Hand is the original mafia. The people you seeing, that's why some of them Italians, they can wear gold because they are mulattoes. They descendants of the original Moors. These mulattoes. That's why some of the Italian, there's like the Italians is different from a lot of other pale races because the Italians dress nice with suits. They be clean, right? They get that from us, the Moors. They get that from us. We was the ones dressing in 3-piece suits and zoot suits and all this different stuff. We invented that. We controlled the Silk Road. We wore silk and all this. We wore fine linen. We were the ones with the swagger. The Moors. We the swagger. We swagged out. You know what I'm saying? That part. Hey, shout out Chief. Shout out to big homie Chief Mac, man.
Chief Mac
in the building, man. Yeah, Chief big Mac homie Chief Mac, man.
Chief Mac was
Yeah.
on the Elder Show the other day. They were on fire, family. You want to
Oh
stay
yeah.
in touch with, you want to trust from Chief Mac, contact him at unityinmotion45@yahoo.com. And the Young Elder got a lot of educational tools out there for you, a lot of tapes, audio books, a lot of study material. So subscribe to the Young Elders channel. And please, everybody in the chat, send the Young Elder Cash App. If you sent him something, put "I got you." Put "I got you" in the comment section. I got you. If you sent him something or you plan to send him something, put "I got you" in the chat. Let him know we love him and we appreciate his ancestral wisdom and his deep dive research. I want to see it in the chat, family, before he gets out here. I got you. Come on, family. We want to see it. Yeah, the Black Nobility. What you say? Yeah, he was talking about that. Yep. Okay, they saying done.
Yeah, everybody too. If you on my side, if you haven't subscribed to Dr. Kia Pruitt's page, we got the link in the descriptions. You can go make sure you go subscribe to her page as well.
Look at, thank you so much. Look at the people saying this is a dynamic duo. Thank you, Chief Mac. He wasn't gatekeeping at all. Nope. Who else? Okay, Troy says, "I got you, Young Elder." House of Rambo, I got you. I love this. Who else? They love you, brother. They say, "I got you." Wildfire Penny, I got you. Dr. Kia Pruitt, I said, "I got you." That's right. That was fire. Come on, family. That's right. He the truth. Let's send this man a blessing. You never know what people are going through. He's spitting out a lot of knowledge and information for free. You know, he didn't have to do this. So I see you, Sister Janet said, "I got you." I love this. Italians have our hair. Yep. They got our blood, all that.
They mulattoes. They really mulattoes. That's what they are.
And the Sicilians really know. The ones in Southern Italy, they know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
Janice says, "I got you." Okay. All right, Young Elder. We know you got to go look at all these. I got you. Joan Craft, we got you.
Hey, I love the peace and love throughout the balanced universe to the whole tribe, to everybody on the land, man, that's waking up and we getting busy, man. Peace.
Why do? How do you say? You say why do or OCO? Which one?
Why do is like, like see you later. Like hoping to see you later. Then Rabbi is like greetings. Yeah,
greetings.
So yeah, greetings. Like we don't say goodbye, right? And we don't say good morning, because morning is a thing you do at funerals. So we don't say good morning. They say buenos dias in Spanish, but we say Rabbi. It's like greetings in our tribal tongue.
I love
the Nuwapian tribal tongue. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you
peace
for that.
And love, y'all.
Peace and love, family. We'll see you later. Take care. I appreciate you all. You've heard from the Young Elder. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt. Chief Mac was in the house, as well as Orisha Stone. I'm assuming Brother Chief Rod Hayes was in here. All of you chiefs, chiefesses, gods and goddesses, we give you praise and thanksgiving for coming on the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. You've heard from me and the Young Elder. I trust that we've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. I saw some people send me a Cash App earlier, and I don't want to look over you, but we'll come back and give you gratitude as well. If you want to send a donation to the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show, is $ Mama Kia 13, $MAMAKIA 13. We'll come back on tomorrow and give everybody a shout out that blessed the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. All right, family, let's go out with a little music. We love you.
That hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do.
guys know how I can get in contact with Dane Calloway, let me know. We'll bring him on the show. And Taj Tariq Bey, Master Teacher. Somebody send me some emails and contact information so we can bring them on. Thank you. Shout out to Brother Kenneth, I think his name is Mystical Energy, for writing this song, the theme song for Dr. Kia Pruitt. Love you, family. Go out and make this a great evening.